Aeroflow Performance. The ever-increasing range that started with just hose, fittings, and fuel system components has grown to include boosted turbochargers, bang shift shifters, X-Pro ignition and electrical accessories, Bosch motorsport products, fabrication parts, as well as driveline and engine components. With an exceptional distribution network and inventory, Aeroflow products are always within reach. With more to come in the future, be sure to keep an eye out at aeroflowperformance.com.
Featuring a full bespoke billet case, all shifters are designed for right-hand drive vehicles with an LED lit gear position indicator. Available in either ratchet or gated options, as well as OEM replacement shifters for popular Holden and Ford vehicles. A large range of bang shift spares are available for each shifter that includes shifter cabling, brackets, lever and gate kits, trans brake buttons and drop boxes for the ideal mounting solution. Shift into gear and check out a full listing at aeroflowperformance.com.
How would it be if we funded a pilot program for you to run that enabled you to bring some vision impaired kids onto the Saints Play program?
Oh wow, that would mean the world. My reward is the smile on the kids' faces.
And since you've given so much to others, we'd also like to do something for you personally. How would it feel if Pepper sent you, your partner, and your daughter Molly to the Gold Coast for a few days?
Yeah, awesome. I don't know what to say. It amazes me. Thank you very much.
BikeReview.com.au is Australia's leading website for performance and modified motorcycles. BikeReview.com.au is the only motorcycle-focused website to feature motorcycle drag racing on a regular basis. And in the words of editor Jeff Ware, our involvement with Sydney Dragway is our way of putting back into one of our favourite sports. BikeReview.com.au.
Bank said no to your home loan? Talk to us.
Not a bank.
Talk to Australia's real-life non-bank for home loans, car loans, personal loans. Pepper Money, the home of loan options.
I have this incredible drive to succeed. I've just got this ambition. I want to get on the podium. I think there's a lot of people that have an older mentality and don't think women belong in motorsport. And that's one thing I'd like to prove a lot of people wrong. It's you in the car and it's your ambition and your drive to win. As soon as that helmet goes on, that's it. I'm Brooke Newson. I'm a sprint car and outlaw car driver.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Sydney Dragway. It is Honda versus Haters Night. What a big night it's going to be as well. My name's Stuart White, also known as the Pocket Rocket, and I tell you what, it's going to be a big, big night of drag racing. Joining me in commentary tonight, the legend himself, Mark Thomas, is in the house. Mark, did somebody put a call out? I know it's Honda versus Haters, but what's going with the hot rods?
Mate, we've got a Hot Rod Club out here tonight and an absolute sensational turnout. And I'll tell you what, some of the rods we're seeing out there, aren't they tough?
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what, there's one that hasn't even come out yet. I took a photo of it earlier. It's a big Ford which is making its way down lane 2. It's got a set of wheelie bars on it. It's got slicks on the rear end, high centre of gravity. Equals fun.
It does indeed, yeah. I assume it's a Woody van, wagon down here?
Well, actually, the front of it looks a little bit like a Jeep. I actually had to ask Lee down in scrutineering exactly what it was. We weren't even sure. The front of it looks like a Jeep, but it probably isn't. But I have seen this 23 Dodge before, which is down here in the Aeroflow lane, and this thing is tough. Welcome to everybody who's tuning in via Facebook and YouTube from around the world. G'day, Psyop. How are you, mate? G'day, Brett. How are you? Lifo 2000. I want to race Hondas in my Barra and make them the haters.
Well, you need to be here.
Absolutely, you do have to be here. Now, speaking about being here, guys, I'm actually quite excited tonight because not only have we got some of the toughest Hondas in Sydney here, and I am talking about Miss R. Miss R is in the house. It's always great to see her and a partner here. But I'll tell you what, Benny Tranty, they've got the MR2, which you've probably seen if you go to roll racing over the road, which I'm not saying I hope you don't. I'd rather you be here at Sydney Dragway, but if you've seen it, it is here tonight. Great to see the Tran brothers here. They're a very, very good workshop. I love what they do with their World Time Attack car that they run. And it's good to see them back. Had a little chat to them a little bit earlier, Mark. They've still got their drag car from 10 years ago.
Have they?
They used to race here on the Wednesday night. Yeah, they've still got it. And we got Ali, who's here tonight from Elite Auto House. He's got back down.
Yeah, seen his car down there.
Yeah, it's good to see the fully sick Evo back here. Team Karam are here tonight as well with King LS.
Yep.
So great to see some workshops well represented here tonight at Aeroflow Race for Real. It is our Honda versus Haters night, and I don't know.
Did you think the haters list was going to be that large?
Well, no. I mean, to be brutally honest, I thought Adam might have put the call out and said, hey, let's get a few Euro cars here to try and knock them off the perch. But, of course, last week, if you missed out, guys, the reaction time prize money went off last week. Philip Moggs, late in the night on his bike.
It did. It was virtually one of the last passes of the night.
Yeah, he walked away with $1,500. So tonight, jackpot is reset to $300.
Yep.
So the first person to crack a 000 will be walking out with $300.
Mate, did you have a look at this anglia down here?
I didn't get a chance to have a look. I saw it drive past me. I was talking to Derek down in the pits, one of our officials. But this should be a good race. I love this car that's next to him in the rocket lane. It's been around for a long time, this hot rod. Wheelie bars, which are set fairly high, aren't they, Mark? Tell you what, 1.57 in the 62
it
out
just
of that car.
Hooked up so well off the line, didn't it? And really low revs. He virtually just off the brake and accelerator. Oh, 10.9 at 111 miles an hour. Wow. And to a 12.1 at 114 miles an hour. I reckon he got out of that really early for 111 miles an hour for a 10.
I think he might have. Now, I just want to make this clear to everybody that is here tonight at Aeroflow Race for Real. I did send an email through to Darian, our marketing guy, who is on level 1, who's doing a great job with all our marketing here at Sydney Dragway. Now, I did put in an email that he was to bring his helmet and email me back if he was going to race his Honda, because I would have brought the Pocket Rocket out tonight as a hater.
Yep.
And I would have raced him.
So what happened?
Well, he didn't email me back. I think he got scared.
Oh, I think he did.
I think he was scared of the hater, which is the Mazda. So, you know, and that's completely understandable. I mean, you know.
Well, mate, who wants to front up against the power of a Mazda?
That's it, mate. I mean, his little Honda Integra versus my Mazda 2.
I reckon it'd be a good little pass.
I reckon it'd be a great run. Yeah. Be a little bit of fun, be a good laugh. Great to see Too Quick back again tonight. Of course, That car was here last week.
It was indeed, yeah. Couple of really slow passes at the beginning of the night, but finished it off with a real cracker of a pass at the end of the night.
Well, 1089 this time, Mark.
Yep.
1.92 in the 60. Still seemed very soft off the line. It is a turboed LS.
Yep, yeah, 1.9. So, yeah, I think maybe last week was just getting used to everything. And, yeah, we should see some really good passes.
Now, this car caught my eye when I was on my way to the tower. I didn't get a chance to look at it, but this Ford Capri down here, it is beautiful. I love it. I don't know whether it's a new build, but I'll tell you what, it is clean as a whistle. And it's taking on the Volkswagen Golf.
I've got a strange feeling I have seen the car before, but it would have been a while ago.
Well, I'll tell you what, 1.50 in the 60 out of that Capri. That thing was out like a slingshot. And this is a great pass down the Aeroflow lane at a 10.44 with a Ford, 129 miles per hour. Wow, that's hauling.
That is indeed. Well, we got the Audi up against the BMW.
Hey, Christopher's on the live stream on YouTube, Mark. He says, hi everyone, I used to have a Honda FN2 Type R. I bet you regret selling it, Christopher.
Yeah.
Now, there are a couple of modern Honda Civic Type R's out here tonight, which got me a little bit jittery. Just quite. You know I love those cars. It is a Honda, but I do love that car. But Sammy Joe's here tonight as well. G'day, Sammy. Joe's here. Now, he's not running the supercharger tonight. He's still running it naturally aspirated.
So this, I had a bit of a yak to Joe. So this was the original motor that was in that car earlier. It's a dark block. And he's now stroked it up to 427. So it's making huge torque out of it. So it's not one of those motors that make masses of horsepower, but he said, the torque figures are way up there, so which is great. And he said once he puts a supercharger on it, it's just going to go through the roof. So next week, can't wait to see it.
Well, I'll tell you what, if he puts a supercharger on it, I did ask him today, did you put a call out for Ernie? Because Ernie's here with the black Arrow. G'day, good to see you back, Ernie.
It's good to see he's got that car all sorted too.
Yeah.
That little niggling problem he had went on for a fair few meetings. But yeah, now he's on top of it. Put some really great passes in last time the car was out here. Good to see all that hard work has really paid off.
Well, I'll tell you what, I can't wait for Ross the boss to make his way back out here to Sydney Dragway either once he gets his XD Falcon all sorted. As I'm just looking at the lanes, and we've got another tough car that's just turned up behind Ernie, the Black Arrow. It looks like the Team Karam King LS Commodore. That thing is sick.
It's come from the right stable, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Of course, Team Karam, they've been around a long, long time, those guys. All right, we've got the BMW up against the Honda Civic.
Well, 12.7, 109 miles an hour for the BMW, and 15.8, 89 miles an hour for the Honda. We've got another Honda down in the Aeroflow lane. First timer, which is great to see.
Yeah, taking on the Nissan Pulsar. Now, his number plate is 12 Nugget. I don't know about a Nugget. I reserve my judgment about Nissans within reason. But this Euro R, I'm interested to see how it goes. Good to see plenty of first-timers making their way out here to Sydney Dragway, as Mark said. And, well, the 12 Nugget, 2.42 in the 60 out of the Nissan. Tell you what, it's on a good pass. 14.02 with a 2. I did not expect that.
No. And 15.8 at 90 miles an hour for the Aeroflow.
All right, 09 Hunter is here in the Rocket Lane, taking on a Honda Civic.
Well, nice strong burnout from the Commodore. Great.
Also, Mark, before the event, I went down to the pits and caught up with the the guys from Boostworks.
Yep.
They're here with their this weekend for Jamboree, which is on this weekend. If you love Hondas, high horsepower cars, this is the event to come to on Saturday. It is going to be off its head. But they're down there with their FD RX-7 with a 13B rotary in it.
Yep.
And yeah, as I said to them, it's exciting times in the world for rotary enthusiasts because the race is on for the fives.
Yes.
It's not only is there an inter-Mazda battle between the 13Bs, the 20Bs and the 26Bs, but I'll tell you what, I make no secret, I love my rotaries, but there's plenty of other tough cars that are here. Of course, Elite Auto House will have Executor on display this weekend. They may even bring it out for a run tonight if it gets here in time.
Okay, that's good.
But Arlie's brought back down out here tonight. He still won't let me drive it, but, you know. I mean, yeah, I guess you can understand. He probably thinks, oh, he's a Mazda driver, so I wouldn't let him touch the Mitsubishi. But
well, the VL just launched out, went mid-track, 162 in the 60, and said got mid-track and then backed out for a 13.5 at 58 miles an hour. We did hear that one running through the pits earlier, didn't we? It sounded really, really tough.
I got the BMW taking on the Honda Integra. Great to see a lot of people here tonight from Dialed In Racing. G'day, guys. How are you? Welcome, Brian and the gang down there. What's up? Hey, Brett, how come you're not racing tonight, mate? I thought you loved beating Hondas. You know? I mean, you got your fully sick 9-second Commodore, and like there's some like quick Hondas out there. I reckon he's scared.
You reckon?
I reckon he goes, I just don't want to embarrass myself in front of Stewie, you know? Oh, a little turn of the tyres there for the Integra. The Boomer out with the 2.43 in the 60. Sammy Joe is in the house, and she's taking on the Honda Civic Type R. Well, this is truly Honda versus haters, really. I mean, V8 versus import.
Yep.
I know you're a V8 man, Mark. I'm a bit more of an import guy myself. But great, good, strong burnout there from Sammy Joe.
Well, I must say, I'm not feeling too worried.
Why am I not surprised, judging by the grin on your face? But no, of course, Sammy Joe was out here the other week in Brian's car, and they just put nitrous on it. Unfortunately, it snapped a bit of something in the rear end, but look at that, 0.011 on the tree from Sammy Joe, 1.68 in the 60. The VE Commodore Dialed In Racing, an 1173 at 114.7, 7.51 to the 8th mile for Sammy Joe. As we welcome Miss R back here to Sydney Dragway, brand new tyres on the car. This car is quick. Now, she's put a smaller diameter steering wheel on it,
Yep.
Mark, because apparently it was floating around a little bit, and a little bit of a difference. This car is now all-wheel drive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting to see how that, has it been out since they've done the conversion?
They've done a couple of runs over the road for
Yes.
roll racing.
Yep.
But it's the first time they brought it out on the drag strip. So as Miss R said, she's just got to get used to it. It is moving around a little bit, but 1.86 in the 60 is a bit of a feeling out pass. So you're just moving around at about 3/4 track. Goes 1076 with a 1 at 142.9. Now, they did mention that there is possibly a 9.9 second pass in that car, but it's about trying to get the car down and doing what it likes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, 10.7, got a lot to go, as we know. You know, like once you get down past those 11s, every, you know, like 10th of a second you got to carve off it. Goes a lot of work.
Yes.
But hey, this is where you do it.
Absolutely.
This is your test bed. So yeah, I hope those guys do get down into a 9 tonight. The miles an hour is definitely there for it.
Absolutely. A couple of more Hondas down, 1270 in the Rocket lane to a 13.16 in the Aeroflow lane. Just a hint of smoke out of that car in the rocket lane as we've got another Honda about to take on the Mitsubishi.
Yeah, Mitsubishi just gone in a little bit too deep, so we'll just have to just push them back a little bit and reset, bring them back in.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Biffo. 10.7 is fast for a four-banger street car, and I'll tell you what, there's a little bit more in it as well. So, you know, possibly you might see that time down a little bit.
Oh, I definitely think we will. Like 147 miles an hour. That's huge miles an hour. So, yeah. And I think the big thing about that too, it's the first time it's been on the drag strip, proper prep track. So that'll make a big difference for him.
Now, I just had a message through from Brett from Dialed In Racing Mark. He said his car is getting an ECU upgrade.
Okay, great. Yep.
So he's putting Motec going in it.
Yep.
And he's looking for low nines.
Yep.
Out of his car. So Brett Stutchbury, a little bit more work done the Commodore. That's pretty awesome. I'll tell you what, we need Darian up here, I reckon.
We need him down on the track. That's what we need.
Well, yeah, but he got scared. You know, he wouldn't even race me. Well, you know what we need tonight? We need some rotaries to turn up, I reckon. A few Mazdas to turn up, really stick to these Hondas. I mean, it's nice to see, though, people that watch YouTube, and particularly people here at the track that are able to log on to YouTube as well. See, we don't get a lot of Honda bashing anymore. We used to get a lot of Honda bashing back in the day, but not so much now.
Well, Stu, did you just see that Ford F-Truck just coming round?
The big Chevy, I did.
Oh, Chevy, was it?
Yeah, I did. That car's gone 10.4 seconds down this quarter mile before.
Yep.
It's got a, look, for the size of the car market, I thought the slicks would be slightly bigger than they are, but you know, they obviously do the job. It is supercharged. So, and I was walking through the pits when they were just warming it up, and a little bit of race fuel got up my nose, and that just hit my brain, and then, that's when I go from Stuart White to the Pocket Rocket. You know, it's like Snoop Dogg, you know, he goes from Calvin Brodus to Snoop Dogg. Well, that Honda, a little moving around just before half track, 4.37 to the 330. Just moving around a little bit, 11.13 to 89 to a 13.39. Joe Sabello coming out now, Smoking Joe in the Datsun Skyline. Got the naturally aspirated LS in it, as Mark mentioned earlier. And he's taking on an earlier model Honda Civic Type R.
So yeah, tonight's the last night of betting in this motor.
Yep.
Next week, put some boost on it.
Oh yeah, we love boost. Doesn't matter what type of boost it is, whether it's chemical or mechanical.
Yep. Anything that makes it go faster has got to be good.
Well, I'll tell you what, you mentioned that this engine had a fair bit of torque, 1.76 and 60 for Joe.
Yep.
And that still seemed fairly soft off the line too.
So Ben was just saying that they've just put a two-step ignition in this thing as well.
Oh, nice.
So just to try and get the thing off the line.
Well, Ernie's just done the purge. He's ready to go. A little bit of nitrous.
We can hardly see either of these vehicles.
Yeah, 408 cube Clevo in the Celica with nitrous, and the big Chevy.
Wow.
Oh, struggling to gain traction. Ernie out though, 1.34 in the 60, and an 873 to 152 for Ernest Hudson. That's a great pass from Ernie.
That is a great pass. Seeing he pedalled that a fair bit out of the hole as well.
That was excellent. The big F truck, we can see the tyre marks in the Aeroflow lane.
Yeah, he had to try and drive through that. I think he just got out of it in the end, because you can see the marks has just started to go sideways on him.
Yeah. just picked up maybe just a few little spots of fluid. So our starting team down there just doing a quick mop up in aisle 1. Our track walkers out just having a quick look as well. Maybe just a little bit of overflow out of that car. But Joe Sabello coming up the return road in the Datsun Skyline. Had a good hard look at the tree though, didn't he, Mark? 0.011 red, but hey, it's only the first pass, and Joe loves his drag racing. It's great to see him here.
So you don't know, you might get that motor bedded in the Skyline, and that'll come out and go into his Nissan.
It might. It might.
Nissan is a bit lighter.
And maybe take the engine out of the Commodore, the white one, and put it in that one.
Yep.
All right, Team Karam are in the house. King LS. If you haven't seen this car before, it is a weapon. These boys have been around the Commodore scene for a very, very long time. And this car is sick. As I mentioned, full interior. It does have roll cage. Radials on the rear end. 1.64 in the 60.
Got out of that a little bit early. And just rolls across the line. 10.7, 92 miles an hour.
All right, we're into the bikes. We've got the L-plater down here in the rocket lane on board the Kawasaki.
So I dare say, Stu, I think that one might have been just to feel out the track, see what's there. But Ernie just put in a high 8-second passing in that lane, so the track's there, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've got Dragon's Hot Rod Club in the back of the Ford. Thirteen 197 miles an hour to a 16.4, 99 miles an hour.
All right, well, the 32 Ford Coupe down here in the rocket lane. Of course, a car made famous by the Beach Boys, Little Deuce Coupe.
Yep. Very, very popular.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, I love the fact that, I love chopped hot rods anyway.
Yep.
But I had a quick look at this one down in the scrutineering shed, and I'll tell you what, it is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, get your cameras out when they come up the return road, because it's not very often that we get the big hot rods make their way out. Tell you what, a 1376 with a 6, that's a very good pass out of 32. And the Ford Ute with a 20.97 at 62. As we've got a couple of more hot rods out now. We've got the soft tops on them.
Yep. I think if I ever had a rod, it'd have to be black.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're relatively skinny tyres on that black hot rod as well.
Yeah, it is. It doesn't have huge tyres, where the blue one down here has got a decent bit of rubber under it. But doesn't seem to worry it too much. Got off the line, 2.2. The 60.
Yeah, 1.90 in the 64, the blue hot rod, and a 12.07 to a 13.91. Now, these are the style of hot rods I like. They don't have a bonnet on them, so you can actually see the engine.
Yep.
Which I think is cool. And the white walls. I reckon if you've got a hot rod, you're going to have white walls. I mean, they really just suit them.
Yeah, do indeed.
Because I was a big part, well, I wouldn't say a big part, but one of my mates from up near Penrith, he's a massive Elvis fan, and I've been out to a couple of hot rod shows and custom car shows before, and I'll tell you what, you get some nice looking hot rods turn up for that, and big American Yankee iron. Well, no 7.0 on the tree for the rocket lane. Nice 13.00 with a 9 to a 13.38.
tell you what, I think we're going to have to get onto Bushy soon and get him to tell us what this wagon is.
Well, I think so.
Okay, so we've asked the hot rod man himself.
Yes.
So it's a Jeep Willys, and he said it's probably the classification would be like a Woodies.
Well, I reckon Steve's got his eye on this Anglia down here in the rocket lane, just quietly. Angria. There's only one Angria. It's not racing tonight.
So, mate, one of my mates had one of these in black, supercharged 350 in it. Yeah, it was absolutely great car.
Well, the black one's running nitrous on it, which is even more fun. 1.72 in the 60 and 11.28 at 122. That's excellent. All right, too quick from High Comp Performance and Fentech.
Up against the HQ Ute.
Yeah, Bill Hatzimacolas.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, Bill Hatzi driving it. I don't know how many cars he's got.
Has he still got the Camaro?
No, actually, I was just talking to him before the event. He actually sold to a couple of guys down in all the beaches.
Ah, okay.
Well, a couple of hot rod guys, and they were talking about turning it back into a street car.
Yeah, okay.
So he said, I've got their number, I just haven't been game to ring them.
Well, that was a tough car. That thing used to leave the line dangling the front wheels.
Oh, yeah.
It was a weapon of a car.
All right, this beautiful looking Ford Capri, this thing is stunning. Of course, we had Day of the Drags on the weekend.
Yep.
I'm annoyed that I couldn't make that one, but look, a big congratulations must go to Chris Denny for winning Supercharged Outlaws in that beautiful front engine dragster of his, the Wallandilly Smash. Sponsored front engine car. It's great to see Fen doing well in that car. It's not one of the more quicker Supercharged Outlaw cars, but it is consistent.
That's the thing. You know, you don't have to be the quickest on the field as long as you're consistent, and that's all you need to be.
Absolutely.
Just pump them out, same time every time.
No, he's done really, really well. So big congratulations to Chris and the Denny family. Now we've got this BMW down here, which I'm not quite sure what they're doing. I don't know whether the passenger is distracting him, but well, I was going to say loosen up behind the wheel, but you know, I thought it'd be nice, which is not like me when I'm on commentary. Yes, Brett, we will be streaming the Euro Day on the 29th of March. We stream every event here at Sydney Dragway.
BMW just turning tyres off the line. Went out a 2.45 in the 60. Not a real lot between these cars. Oh, and gets pegged on the line. 16.9, 81 miles an hour to a 17.2 at 60 miles an hour.
Well, we got Brando out here in the Aeroflow lane in the VZ Commodore, taking on the VE.
We actually have a few cars here tonight with passengers.
Yeah.
VE with a passenger model. So if you look at the back window, if they're just below their race number, they've got a P number. That's for the passenger.
Oh, big turn of the tyres there for the VE Commodore. Just a little bit too many revs. Just got to find that sweet spot. Might take a few runs, but they'll find it.
12.7 to a 14.6. So we've got the Audi up against the Honda.
I got someone that's joining the chat on YouTube. They said, can you do a shout out to my sister Kate? G'day, Kate.
Hey.
How are you?
So is Kate at the track or online?
hopefully she's here at the track.
Place to be.
Absolutely. Where else would you want to be? Especially tonight, Honda versus Haters. And the Honda, 10.61, 131.8. Holy cow. Now we're talking.
And 11.9 at 1:15 for the Aeroflow lane. So, yeah, some of the Hondas are starting to break it out, aren't they?
Well, they are. They're starting to turn it up. All right, got the Hyundai i30N about to take on the BMW.
I think a few of them have been on the computer. Just page up a bit.
I think a few of them have. If that's the car I'm thinking of, when I was down in the pits, I actually saw it come in on a tilt tray. So
oh, okay, yep.
Yeah, if it comes in on a tilt tray, 9 times out of 10, it's pretty serious.
Yeah, it is indeed.
There's big thank you to all our Honda community who come out tonight to support the event. It is still early. Hopefully we'll get a few more Hondas make their way out and a few more Haters as well. That's what I like about these events before Jamboree. You get that very import feel about the night, which is always exciting. I know we've got a couple of our competitors that will be racing this weekend. I did mention Boostworks, which are here already, and there's another rotary down the back. Hopefully those guys will be able to make their way up into the crowd, be able to watch some of the racing this evening for Aeroflow Race for Real. All right, well, the Nissan versus the Honda. The Nissan out again, 2.29 in the 60. Didn't muck around at the burnout either. It still goes to 13.77, 104 to 15.58. As we got a nitrous-assisted VZ Commodore down here in the rocket lane, about to take on the Honda. Now I can see Miss R down there, and looks like her partner might be driving the car tonight.
Okay.
Now she did say to me that if it runs a 9, she's going to be annoyed because she wants to run the 9, not a partner. Well, 12.31 down to the rocket lane, 15.88. So 12.31 out of that nitrous-assisted Commodore as we got the Honda Civic. I actually like this model of Honda Civic.
Yeah, it's good shape.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a Del Sol, if there's anybody that's watching, or here at the track, guys, let me know if it is a Del Sol. But he's taking on 09 Hunter.
Well, Commodore got away a little bit better than the previous pass. 186 for the 60-foot. Nice and strong. 12.2, 112 miles an hour to a 13.910 miles an hour. Geez, that's nice and strong for the Honda as well, isn't it?
It is. Big thank you to that person who's just joined. It is a Del Sol, so I was right. Of course, I always think Del Sol because of the old online performance Honda Del Sol that they used to race.
Yep.
Now, Sammy Joe back out in the dialed-in racing VE Commodore, taking on the Honda Integra.
Definitely pushing the lights at the moment. Gone a bit red, but when it's red, you're trying hard, aren't you?
Yeah, 1.66 in the 60 for Sammy Joe and goes an 11.71 with 3 at 114. As we've got the Beamer about to take on the 05 VTEC Yo. They forgot the Yo part on the number plate.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm surprised no one's got a Honda with that on it, actually. I reckon that...
Just have that for the number plate?
Yeah, that was Frank's old catchphrase. VTEC Yo. Now, the BMWs, they're doing it for the Euros. Because we do have a massive Euro night coming up towards the end of the month. Adam Heron's been on charge of that. it's going to be massive.
It is going to be huge, isn't it?
Yeah, from what we've been told, all the racing tickets have been sold. They are full. All right, the Honda Civic.
Oh, look what they're fronting up against.
Yeah, I know. Ali is in the house. Because last time we brought the car out here, they detonated an engine.
Okay.
So it's taken a little while to get the car back.
14.1, 107 miles an hour to a 17.8 at 80 miles an hour. Well, both cars have just gone round the water.
Well, this should be an interesting race because it's Miss R's car.
Yep.
Taking on the Elite Auto House back down. Ali is behind the wheel. Nitrous assisted 4G63. Four-wheel drive radials. Now, from memory, this car is, I could be wrong, is the fastest or second fastest Pro Street Evo that we've got. Now I don't know what's going on with the Integra, unless they've stalled it. Here goes Ali, 1.95 in the 60 for back down. And on the brakes just before the finishing line, still runs on through with a 1081 with an 8 at 118.
Definitely a little bit of a problem with the Honda. Hopefully it's nothing too serious.
Well, now that it's gone all-wheel drive, and we know for a fact, Mark, that any all-wheel drive car is tough in the driveline with drag racing.
Yes, it is. Yep. Well, it's all sorted.
Yeah, just moving around a little bit, but hopefully it's nothing bad, and we'll be able to get that car back out. But good to see Ali back out here at Sydney Dragway, Elite Auto House. As I mentioned earlier, if Executor gets here on time, it may even go down for a pass as well. All right, the Honda CR-V. Now, it's not just about the Civics and the Integras. Got the Honda CR-V.
It's Honda as the brand.
That's it.
And it's up against the VL Commodore.
I'll tell you what, that VL, that looked beautiful straight off the line, just lifted itself up on the suspension. 1.60 in the 60.
Yeah, he's got out of that mid-track. But still runs through 13.8 at 56 miles an hour to a 15.5, 93 miles an hour.
G'day, Ian. Welcome to the live stream, mate. Well, great to see you tuning in to our Honda versus Haters theme night tonight. Now, just bearing in mind, ladies and gentlemen, because it is a theme night, we're not running any burnouts tonight, okay? So it's just purely drag racing. All right, the Honda Civic Type R in the rocket lane, 0.044 on the tree, great reaction time. The earlier model Honda Civic, just a little bit of an issue off the start line. But a 14.55.
And just to any of the competitors, don't forget, you can't video holding your camera up as you're doing a pass.
Yep.
It's all about safety, and that's not the safest thing you can do. So don't go with your phone up in the air as you're leaving the line.
No, because our track staff are on it. If you think the starter doesn't see it, well, I'll tell you what, our track walkers can see it. So, and they've all got radios.
Yeah, absolutely. So, if you want images or anything like that, we have photographers out here taking photos of the night. Just contact one of them, they would have photos of your car.
All right, the Civic up against the Integra. Not too much between them in the 60 foot, but the Integra has got the legs, and a 1260 with a Ford or 1390. Now this little Honda Civic down here has got a roll cage in it.
Well, sound a little bit serious down the burnout.
I know, I'm actually genuinely excited.
It's up against Joe. I think Joe usually scares everyone straight off the line because he's out of there like a shot.
Yeah, 1.75 in the 60 for Joe, but 0.016 on the tree. That Honda moving around a little bit in the deep end. A 1253 with a 7 at 129.
Big miles an hour, like that's a 10-second pass.
Yep.
And Joe, 11.7, 117. Virtually what he's been doing for the last 3 or 4 weeks, so yeah.
All right, we've got this little Honda down here called Humble, which is obviously not the normal plates, but now I can see Daniel down by the start line, Daniel Melrose, who's been around the drag scene a long time. Now, I reckon he's a hater. I don't reckon he's a Honda fan. I reckon he's on the hater side, which is quite... I could be wrong. I'm sure if I asked Brett White, he'd probably say, yeah, I'm on the hater side. Bit of smoke coming out of that Honda, though, down in the deep end.
Well, again, 12.6. 134 miles an hour. So these turbo versions are just absolutely big top end, aren't they?
Yeah, but I think what lets them down a little bit is just that steering, just down the end of the track when they start to get a little bit wobbly.
Once that torque steer just is really uncontrollable to a degree. Ooh.
Oh, that's not a good sign.
And done the right thing to, as soon as he realised he's got a bit of a problem, straight off the track. Well done to that driver.
Yep. Look at this. So that car is got a fair bit of work done to it, but it could hear the spin of the tyres off the start line.
Yep.
But I don't know whether he's just done that out of caution. But you just never know with these cars, do you?
No, you don't know, and you know, like, it's a great thing if you think there's something wrong with your car. Yeah, just when you get to a safe speed, get it over to the side of the track, shut it down. The crew will come over, the track guys, they'll have a look around the car. If they think everything is okay, they'll get you to move it on. If they don't think it is, they will get it towed. And in 2 ways, you know, like you're saving the track, but you're also saving your car as well, because if you have damaged something and you keep driving, it's going to cause more and more damage.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah.
Well, that's a good sign. Looks like he's restarted it.
Yep.
And just driving it slowly down the edge of the Aeroflow lane. So we'll send him through the Junior Dragway Expressway here at Sydney Dragway. I know that sounds like a bit of a mouthful, but I've been calling that for years. Hey, Mark, if you look down the viewing area, there's a bloke down there with some really sick-looking sunglasses and a very red hat. That looks like Ross, our #1 spectator. How are you, Ross?
Absolutely.
Hey, Ross, I've got to ask you a question, mate. Are you a Honda fan or a hater fan? What do you reckon, Honda or hater? Yeah, Honda. Oh.
That's thumbs up for Holden, and I think it's thumbs down for the Hondas.
Maybe you thought I said Holden, you know?
Yeah.
He's going to get me back for that.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. There isn't anything else. No.
Well, I guess you get Ford's in between, isn't it? Oh, hang on, I'm sitting next to Bushy. I better be careful what I say.
Yeah, like we said, there's no other.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Holden or nothing. Yeah.
I better be careful because Bushy will burn a hole through the side of my head if I start mentioning bagging out Fords. So, yeah. And I want to get through the night.
But we're only talking from experience.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, I'm sure when he's in race control, he can hear what I'm saying, and I can always feel the side of my head getting a bit warm on that side. All right, the old plater out on the quacker.
Well, like the number plate on the bike in the rocket lane, Evil Limit.
Yeah, I love it. G'day, Mr. Wilcox. We've got 2 bikes that are racing tonight. I mean, actually, because it's a Honda versus Haters night, I thought there'd be some more Honda motorcycles out here tonight. Well, now one bike, unfortunately, looks like we've got a bit of a problem down there for the other bike. So the old plater on the Kawasaki and a 14.19 at 100 miles per hour. As we're back into the hot rods. And we got my 22 Tall T.
Get the little Nitro sticker on the back window, is it?
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
He's up against a little Deuce Coupe. So I've just been told by the boys this is what they call a centre door because the door's in the centre.
Sort of makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So what, 0.61 on a tree versus an 0.40, but 1.53 in the 60 from the Tall T. 1090 with 9, 119.
And 13.6 at 99 miles an hour for the rocket lane.
That is cool. That is seriously cool. Tell you what though, I don't care what age anybody is. You can't not like a hot rod.
Oh, yeah.
I remember there used to be a hot rod that came in here a number of years ago. It didn't even have a V8. It had an import engine in it.
Oh, okay.
Which I thought was really cool.
12.6 to a 12.9, 107 miles an hour to 103.
All right, got this more open-wheeled style hot rod with the nitrous. About to take on this convertible purple hot rod.
Los Anglia's got a sunroof in it.
Yeah, that's cool.
That is cool, isn't it?
Turn the tyres there out of the convertible, but the nitrous-assisted hot rod in the rocket lane is through with an 11.34, 122 to a 13.72 at 106 as the 23 Dodge comes out now in the Aeroflow lane, taking on the Ford Anglia. Hey Ross, this would be right up your alley, wouldn't it, mate? Because the hot rods have been around for a long, long time, and there's a lot of pride put in these cars, as there are with most cars. But you find with the hot rod guys, Mark, it's really its own niche area of the car scene, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. 12.0, 113 miles an hour to a 12.2, 115 miles an hour.
All right, we've got this Commodore down here from Big Sexy Racing. That's going by the sticker that's on the rear window. I didn't make that up.
And we've got the XF Ute in the rocket lane.
Yeah, it's cool, this XF Ute. It's got a bull bar on the front of it. Bring the country to tonight's event. It's always a bit of fun. Oh.
I wonder if this thing's had a little imp barrel been put up under the bonnet.
May well too. What a 12.41 out of the Commodore, 1.96 in the 60. And it's got a couple more hot rods coming out now. We've got the Willis or the Woody. I reckon that car would look cool if you called it a Woody and had a surfboard sitting on top of it. I reckon they look mad. It's great to see the Hot Rod Club out here tonight supporting Aeroflow Race for real. Of course, Day of the Drags. If you missed it, guys, you missed out on a very, very good event. We love. I love nostalgia motorsport as much as I love the modern stuff. Oh. Listen to that.
Oh, a big shot of flame out from under the back.
That is cool.
That's tough. Oh, jeez. What a weapon. 154 in the 60. Backs it down mid-track and just rolls on through. 11.7, 76 miles an hour.
Wow. 1.54 in the 60, and it was struggling for traction. All right, we've got the VH Commodore down here in the rocket lane. Also got Nitrous on board, taking on King 96. Perfect place to be down in the spectator viewing area, getting that tyre smoke into the lungs. Oh yeah, I can see Ross down there. I reckon he lives on that stuff. Yeah. Not just race fuel. That's how you look so young, Ross. It's all the race fuel. You know?
Well, VH is out. 1.7 in the 60. Nice and strong top end. 10.9, 125 miles an hour.
That's tough.
13.0, 109 for the Falcon.
That was an awesome pass out of the Commodore. Bill Hatch coming out now in his Street Fighter designated Holden Ute. Because Bill Hatsey been racing for a very, very long time. It's great to see him still enjoy his drag racing.
Yes, yep.
As you said to me, it doesn't matter how quick I go, I'll still enjoy it.
That's exactly it.
Now this car caught my attention when it was going through scrutineering this VK Commodore down here. Now, I make no secret that I love VK Commodores, and this thing is sensational. Yes. Very well presented.
Yeah, it's a great looking car, isn't it?
Oh, it is.
Right colour and everything.
I wouldn't go as far to say it's a Tiger Mika. It's kind of a different. Oh man, did you see that, Mark?
Yeah, it sure did.
Wow, 1.44 in the 60, and then it just unloaded.
Well, 11.1, 92 miles an hour to a 17.0, 79 miles an hour. Yeah, as soon as that, it's definitely under boost. As soon as that thing come on boost, it just kicked out sideways.
Wow.
Done the right thing, got out of it, and then just fed it back into it. So I definitely think we're going to see some good passes out of that car tonight.
Absolutely. Once we get a little bit more rubber down on that start line, I reckon a few cars tonight are going to start winding it up. The Commodore down the rocket lane at 12.84, and the V Commodore Just cruising on through with the 16.14. About to take on the Hyundai i30N sedan. Taking on the Honda Civic.
Okay, just having a little bit of a clean up down in the rocket lane.
Now, I got a message through during the week, Mark, from Stephen Arnold, who drives that yellow and white EH Holden.
Yes, yep.
Now, he's just had a half cage put in.
Okay, yeah.
Because obviously it's what had that was going too quick, so I had to get tech. So they put a little, he's put a little roll cage in it, a little half cage, I should say. So hopefully we'll see him out again soon, and Steve will be able to bring the car out. But he did say that he will be having a crack at some no prep racing at some stage as well.
Yep.
I think he just wants to take on Johnny Habib and beat him.
Yeah, okay.
But nah, we love Steve's car here, and Steve, if you are watching the live stream, mate, really hope to see the car back out.
It's good to see the guys with the cars. They step it up in the mechanical, but they're also stepping it up in the safety factor as well.
Absolutely. And I mean, if you put a half cage in it, does it make much difference to the chassis?
Depends on how the cage is.
Yep.
Most of them, depends on who put them in there. A lot of guys, they tag them into the body.
Yes.
So it stiffens the body up more.
Yep.
If you put a full cage, that that ties the whole body into it.
Yeah.
But half cage is still good.
Yeah. I know the roll cages can stiffen them up a bit. I was always wondering about the half cage.
Yeah, yeah. With a normal cage that just bolts to the floor, they're not doing a real lot to stiffen the car up. But a lot of the chassis builders and stuff like that, when they build their own cages, they will tag them in round the door apertures and everywhere else, and that does aid to that stiffening up. And if you have a car that actually leaves a line, like you see them, they pull one wheel up high up in the air. They put in a rear stabilizer bar that can be preloaded.
Yes.
And it takes that lift out of it. So you can preload it if it's lifting up. You can preload it that side of the car, put more weight on it, and it just takes off dead straight then.
Yeah, it's always exciting. Speaking about being exciting, here's a car we haven't made mention of for a while, the Chrysler 300C, the big yank tank. Actually got a few yank tanks here tonight. I can see on our camera up here in the studio that focuses on the staging lanes. Looks like the F truck's out the back. Now, if that's the one I'm thinking of, that's the one I think has got the Barra conversion.
It is the one that's got the Barra. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, the Chevy truck's not back out yet.
No, not yet. Might have been dropping a bit of fluid, so they may be checking it. All right, the Chrysler up against the BMW. The big Hemi out with a 2.33 in the 7. Sorry, in the 60. 2.33 with the 7 in the 60. And a 1362 at 104 to a 1421. Yeah, it's just beautiful looking blue. Ford Capri makes its way out.
Up against the black BMW over in the rocket lane.
So if you're riding a motorbike, or you know anyone that's riding a motorbike, particularly a Honda, they could race tonight.
Yeah, send them on out.
Yeah, why not? Oh, man. That Capri went out on an angle, and it was ugly off the start line, to say the least, but 1.65 in the 60. You had to gather it up a little bit. It goes to 12.67 at 83.
And 12.3 at 114. So definitely got out of that one real early down the bottom end of the track. You can always tell. Like you look at the ET, then you look at your miles an hour. Like the car next to him, 12.3 at 112 miles an hour. He went through a low 12 at 86 miles an hour. You can tell that he's backed way out of it.
All right, and this is Pulsar up against the Honda Civic. The Pulsar obviously doesn't care about his front tyres. Good strong burnout out of the front wheel drive. And a 14.03 at 103, 15.70 there for the Honda Civic. As the Honda comes out in the Aeroflow lane, about to take on this nitrous assisted Commodore. A 1.87 in the 60 for that nitrous assisted Commodore. Drives around the Honda just after half track, and 11.55, 130 miles an hour. Wow.
And 15.6 at 91 miles an hour for the Aeroflow.
Good miles an hour there for the Commodore.
Yeah, yes indeed.
All right, got the Honda Integra out in the Aeroflow lane. Great to see the dialed-in racing well represented. I've got everybody's got their shirts on down there, which is fantastic to see. Looking nice and professional. Of course, big part of Super Street, or Top Fuel Street, as it's affectionately called. The good thing about that too, Mark, about Top Fuel Street, is that 9 times out of 10 I'm working.
Okay.
So it means I don't have to cook the barbecue for them, which is fantastic. Now I'm not doing it, all right. That's not happening, all right. Yeah, not happening, all right. Not happening. I hear Brian's a better chef than me anyway, just quietly. So Sammy Joe coming out now in the VE Commodore. If you haven't seen this car before, guys, this car was originally manual. They converted it to automatic. And they redid the rear end in this car.
Yep.
And the old rear end out of Brett Stutchbury's Commodore, they put into Sammy Joe's car. Sammy Joe doing a really great job. It's, as Mark said, you know, it's not about going quick, it's about consistency. And this car is consistent as they come.
They done the right thing when they put a gearbox in it too. They put a Turbo 400.
Yes.
So they didn't stick with the original automatic, which is the 700s. Later version of the 700s. 11.6, 114 miles an hour for the Rocket Lane.
Tell you what, an 11.69 with the one, that's a great pass from Sammy Joe. Normally see that car around the 11.770, 11.71. Yep. But 11.69, that's awesome.
It's real consistent, isn't it? It really doesn't stray much from around that. You know, it's around the 11.7s, 11.6, mid-6.
Well, Nick's up in the stands. G'day, Nick. I know you were watching the live stream, but welcome, mate. Where else would you rather be? Better than sitting at home watching the live stream. You're here at the track. And what a night to come out to. We've got some tough cars here tonight, and it's got a real jamboree feeling to it. Of course, that's happening this Saturday here at Sydney Dragway. I know that the Gas Motorsport crew, Mark, they are flat to the boards at the moment at the workshop at Wetherill Park, getting all the cars ready for this weekend.
Yep.
Paul Mahite back behind the wheel too of the OG Gas Racing Celica. Definitely a favourite for Factory Extreme this weekend. And a 15.56 to a 16.62. As we've got Toyota Starlet about to take on the Honda. Don't forget, guys, if you're up in the stands, you're feeling a little bit hungry, we've got Denise up the top there as well with her donuts and coffee. Joe's Ice Cream is up the top, or if you're down in the pits, guys, you can go to the Top Field Cafe. Well, 15:21, 14:96 for the Starlet. As we've got the Subaru WRX too. Oh, this actually looks really tidy. I like that. The white wheels with the red bodywork. It's got that real St. George Dragons feel about it. You know? Don't mention anything, please, guys, about what happened on the weekend, because I had a bet with one of our officials and I lost. So I had to buy him a 6-pack of beer. So, yeah. And of all teams we had to lose to, it was the Bulldogs. So.
Oh, the Panther Bulldogs?
Yeah, pretty much. Just the fact that the doggies, you know. That's why I don't go to Bulldogs games. All right, Miss R back out, taking on this Subaru. Oh man! All-wheel drive Torksty. 11.06 with a 5. What'd you make of that, Mark?
Yeah, it definitely made a big move, didn't it? So, yeah, I would expect that type of ET out of it.
Yeah.
That definitely would have woke you up, that's for sure.
All right, the big F truck with the atomic sticker on the rear end of it. Always good when you see a big truck like this with a parachute on the back. I'll tell you what, that Honda Civic, 1.86 in the 60, and a 9.70 with 145 miles an hour to a 1049 at 92 miles per hour there for the big F truck. Wow, where did that come from? Out of that Honda Civic?
Yeah, absolutely.
You mentioned earlier about page up action.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I don't see too many of these guys turning these things down. They're just winding them up.
All right, Ali back out now in the Elite Auto House Evo. One of our Pro Street Evos that we have here on the East Coast. Taking on this Honda Civic down here in the Aeroflow lane. Tyres struggling for traction out of the Honda.
Hondas were moving around the top end of the track as well.
All right, here goes Ali and back down. 1.90 in the 60, sequential gearbox in this car. Little flush of flame on the gear shift, and runs on through 952 at 152.5 miles per hour. Now to back down.
Oh yeah. Like we said, there's lots of page-up action happening out there.
And I'll tell you what, Mark, the track has come around very, very quickly.
That is, yeah, absolutely. Well, I think Ernest laying such a good pass early just goes to show that the track is spot on and can handle all these cars going down it. So, and the Commodore down here, just a big purge of the nitrous.
Nice.
Well, that sounded a lot tougher off the line. 1.6 in the 60.
I just love the way that car leaves the line, Mark.
Yeah. 10 for 129 miles an hour. Just leaves with a heap of revs, doesn't it?
But just the way it just sits up and just behaves itself off the start line. It's
just pulls up on the suspension.
It's just sensational to watch.
Nice and straight, out of there, doesn't move, does everything right.
All right, we've got a Hyundai i30N sedan about to come out. Of course, if you're a Hyundai lover and you want to get some work done to your car, don't forget Cherry Tuning up at Hornsby on Hunter Lane. Go check them out. Go and have a chat with Tristan and the boys. And They do everything from standard servicing all the way through to performance work. Not just for Hyundai, they also do Kias. They are doing a little bit of JDM stuff as well, but primarily it is the KTM scene that they are targeting. Well, 1395 to a 1469. We've got another Honda Integra coming out now, OTM number plates. Now this one had a little bit of an issue when it left the line last time. Hopefully they've checked it out. Probably nothing wrong with it, but just precautionary. But he's taking on the earlier model Honda Civic Type R, but look what's sitting behind it, Mark.
Yep.
BYP Racing are in the house, and they brought the MR2 out tonight. It's got a set of radials on the rear end of it. 1308 with a 7 to a 14.10 there for the Honda. Smoking Joe Sabello coming out now in the rocket lane. Now, I'm not sure if it's Benny Tran behind the wheel or if it's his brother. But I did mention to them earlier, it's great to see BYP Racing back here at Sydney Dragway. Because they were here a long, long time ago, about 10 years when I first started. They used to come out here fairly regularly to our street meets. Wow, 1.73 in the 60 from the MR2. Joe Sabello, .003 on the tree mark.
Yeah, that MR2 back down. Look at this.
Yeah.
And then we end up down here.
Yeah, 6.51 seconds at 105 miles per hour to half track for the MR2. Joe Sabello in 11.66 at 117.
Joe's definitely sharp on the lights tonight, isn't he?
Right, we got the red lights flashing, so just checking the track, make sure there was nothing leaking out of Joe's car, which, to be honest, very rarely happens. But anything could happen to anything. As we feast our eyes to the return road, we've got the Honda, and behind you we've got Ali in the Elite Auto House. Evo, great to see you back, Ali. Man, I reckon we could get those Pro Street Evos back out again.
Oh,
mate.
absolutely. That was a sensational night, wasn't it?
Tell you what, breaking the records on a street prep track.
Yes. Yep. What do we do? 2, 3 records that night?
Absolutely, yeah, back to back. G'day, Jess. Jessica Savage, who is one of our regulars here at Sydney Dragway. I don't know if you're here. Are you here tonight, Jess? Man, what a night for off-street drag racing. I'll tell you what, if you're not here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, you're missing out on a cracker of a night.
Well, us back out in the Capri.
We got a little bit of everything tonight.
We have.
It's great.
It is.
There's something for everyone here tonight. Obviously, we've got the Hondas and the haters, but we've got the V8s, we've got some Turbo 6s, a little bit of nitrous, some superchargers. It's all happening tonight. Team Karam coming out now, their Commodore, 1.72 in the 60. And a nice, easy 9.5 second pass, 153 miles per hour. And it still looked lazy.
Yep, it was very soft off the line.
I reckon these Team Karam boys, I reckon they're either playing or they're really constant. They've got that first half of the racetrack down pat.
They are, yep. I think they're just doing a little bit of testing.
Yeah.
And we should see some great passes from that near the end of the night.
Well, speaking about great passes, the Black Arrow is back out, Ernest Hudson. The Toyota Celica with the nitrous-assisted 408 cube Clevo underneath the bonnet. He's taking on this first timer, P-plater. Great to see the P-platers out. A 2006 model Honda Civic. Now, the Honda may not win the race at the end of the track, but it could tree Ernest.
That's what you want to go for.
Exactly, and being a first timer, if they fluke the 000,
Yes.
oh man, $300 in the pocket. Imagine what $300 could go towards. Now that would be fun.
Yeah, you can trade the Honda in for a hole.
Ernest Hudson, he must have been listening to me because .009 on the tree for the Black Arrow, 1.30 in the 60, and an 860 at 159 miles per hour for Ernest.
That car is just so well dialed in now.
Erratic Performance are in the house and they're in the stands.
Excellent. Oh, good.
Great to see you here, guys. Great to see Erratic Performance here. All right, we've got our bikes, our 2 lone bikes this evening. Oh, actually, there's one more in the staging lanes. Don't know what's going with all the bikes tonight.
Maybe they like Hondas.
Maybe. Although there's not a lot of Honda riders these days. Most of them are Yamaha or BMW or
They
Kawasaki.
Yep. They're usually Yamaha or Suzuki.
I usually say a wasted opportunity.
Well, 13.0 to a 13.9. Back into the rods.
All right, the 32 coupe out in the rocket lane, taking on the convertible. Oh, .006 on the tree. I tell you what, Mark, this 000 might go off tonight.
A couple of guys have really got their eye on the prize, haven't they?
Absolutely. Absolutely, Fishing King. I totally agree with you, mate. Drag racing is way better than watching Netflix. Yeah, the Honda versus Hater theme night, well, obviously in the car scene, and particularly here in Sydney, I can't vouch for the rest of Australia, but particularly here in Sydney, there's a friendly rivalry between the Hondas and a lot of other makes of import cars, and you know, there's not a lot of people like the Hondas. There's a little bit of a, I wouldn't say they don't like it, it's a bit of a running joke. You know, we all appreciate fast cars and cars in general, but obviously, you know, if you're a Mazda fan, you know, you don't really get on with Toyotas. Hondas don't really get on with anyone. So it's a little bit of a niche side of the import scene, I guess you could say, here in Sydney in particular. And I'm not bagging out Hondas as well. All right, Joe. Yes, Hondas do make good lawnmowers, but
and whippersnippers.
And whippersnippers. And motorcycles. But yeah, in the car side of things, you know, the Hondas back in the day, particularly when the S2000s were around, you know, they were massive. That was a big part of the scene. But the Honda scene died a fair bit in terms of the drag racing side of things. They've still been around in the street scene, but they're not as big as what they were. So, just for a little bit of fun tonight with our marketing guy, who drives a Honda, by the way, decided to call it Honda versus Haters.
Yeah. And there was nothing against Hondas.
No, nothing against Hondas at all.
But we just thought it would attract the most haters.
Exactly right. I mean, I wouldn't say I've got two of them sitting on the side of me. I mean, I've got a Holden man here, I've got a Ford man on the other side, and a Hot Rod man here as well. Stephen Bush, who's... Yes. I think I'd rather a Hot Rod over a Honda though, Steve. Yes. 12:01, 112, 13:39 with a 7. You know what I reckon, mate? If we got this Honda versus Haters theme night, right?
Yeah.
You know it would be really good? I reckon we could get Alan Dodd from Boostworks.
Yeah.
Alan, if you can hear me, I know you're down at the pits. Mate, we're going to get you up here in the studio because you drive a rotary and, like, I need some backup up here. You know? So, you know. You got rotary versus VTEC. Eh, I'll go rotary.
We need something for a rotary night.
Yeah, we need some rotaries here tonight just to really stick it to the Hondas. You know, we've got no Mazdas racing. What's the go, guys? Come on.
Is it rotary against the world?
Should be rotary against the world. Yes. Yeah, Sicko, I would have loved to have had a Honda, but it was a little bit out of my price range, so I bought a Mazda 2. Just so I've got this little cleanup down in Isle of Man, guys. Just going to get a few words from our sponsors. You hear it, our Honda versus Haters theme night here at Aeroflow Race for Real. We'll be back very
street car through to a race car, be sure to think of Aeroflow Performance. The ever-increasing range that started with just hose, fittings, and fuel system components has grown to include boosted turbochargers, bang shift shifters, X-Pro ignition and electrical accessories, Bosch motorsport products, fabrication parts, as well as driveline and engine components. With an exceptional distribution network and inventory, Aeroflow products are always within reach. With more to come in the future, be sure to keep an eye out at aeroflowperformance.com.
Bang shift shifters from Aeroflow Performance are truly the modern shifter for the modern age. Featuring a full bespoke billet case, all shifters are designed for right-hand drive vehicles with an LED lit gear position indicator. Available in either ratchet or gated options, as well as OEM replacement shifters for popular Holden and Ford vehicles. A large range of bang shift spares are available for each shifter that includes shifter cables, brackets, lever and gate kits, trans-brake buttons and drop boxes for the ideal mounting solution. Shift into gear and check out a full listing at aeroflowperformance.com.
How would it be if we...
Ladies and gentlemen, here to Aeroflow Race for Real. It's our Honda versus Haters theme night. And I'll tell you what, the Hondas have come out in force tonight. The Haters have come out in force tonight. And we've got a pretty good crowd for a Wednesday as well. Welcome to all the families that have turned up tonight. Tell you what, it's not Aeroflow Race for Real without the families and the kids and everyone
not at
here.
all. Yep.
We've had some cracker passes already go down the track, and we've still got plenty more to come.
Well, yeah, you're right. And I'll tell you what, the Honda guys have really turned it on, haven't they? There's some really quick Hondas out here tonight.
Like, I don't mean to be rude, but I guess they've given the Aussie hello to a lot of the other competitors that are here tonight.
They have indeed.
And I think what it goes to show too, Mark, is the resurgence of the Honda in the street scene. I mean, I know over the road, particularly with World Time Attack, and I know that the Tran brothers are a big part of that as well, and they really fly the flag for Hondas here in New South Wales. But, you know, at the street level, it's great to see these cars make their way out here to the drag strip and show people, yes, we are still part of the car scene.
Well, and you do see a lot of the VTECs have been put into other cars as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're made their way across for different engine different builds of cars and stuff. So, yeah, it goes to show, you know, like VTEC is a very strong motor.
And Honda is a very strong brand as well within the import scene, especially all around the world. Hey, Daniel, I can see you pacing down there, mate. Are you getting a little bit edgy because these Hondas are doing really well? He's probably got his earphones in, so thankfully I'm safe. That's a good thing about being up here in the studio.
Is that?
I'm safe in the studio.
Yeah, you're in the safe zone, you reckon?
Oh yes, I'm in the safe zone. It's only when I go downstairs with the microphone that I've got to be careful. Not that I'm not anyway, but you know, you've got to have a little bit of fun. You've got to have a little bit of banter.
Well, it is. That's what Race for Real's all about. It's a fun night, and it's a family night.
Absolutely, and I mean, look, I know a lot of the Honda guys are here, and the haters, and you know, I haven't seen a lot of smack talk happening, you know, while we're down there.
Yeah.
I don't mind a bit of friendly smack talk in drag race.
We're a bit insulated from it up here at the moment, so there might be a bit going on in the background.
Well, I'll tell you what, this beautiful looking Commodore, it's got the left headlight taken out of it, but offered around half track, 1.42 in the 60, 5.71 seconds, 125 miles per hour to the 8th mile. Lovely. G'day, Brad. How are you, mate? Gus Man, what's happening? Hey, Gus Man, I've got a question to ask you, mate. What's going with Panel Van Man? He's been very quiet tonight. Is it because there's not a lot of Fords racing tonight? I've noticed when the Fords come out and force, Panel Van Man kind of wakes up a little bit and, you know, starts stirring everybody up, particularly all the Holden followers.
Well, yeah. Suppose they've got to have something to cheer about.
Yeah, exactly, you know.
Parts falling off, rust.
Yeah.
Oil leaks.
Yeah. I reckon Panel Van Man's lost a few glasses in the Fords over the years, just quietly. Well, I got a little bit of a mop-up in aisle 1. Look, while we've got this little bit of downtime, we must thank Aeroflow Performance for their continued support of off-street drag racing here in Sydney. You know, we couldn't do without them. They're a big part of not just the drag racing scene, but Speedway and a lot of other forms of motorsport as well. So to Graham and Wendy and Morris, thank you guys for your continued support. We love having the Aeroflow signage up, but as much as we love having a lot of other great signage here at Sydney Dragway as well, of course, Platinum Racing Products, they've come a long, long way. I mean, they're massive in the GDR scene, and I can't see what those guys have got planned for the future. I'm interested to see whether they're going to branch out into some different makes of cars as well. Mickey Thompson Tyres, who are a relatively new sponsor here at Sydney Dragway.
Which is great. VP Fuels.
Yeah, VP Race Fuels, absolutely. Atlantic Oils, Pepper Money, Titan Group of Companies.
Enviro.
Iron Coat as well. So big thank you to all our sponsors here at Sydney Dragway. We do have plenty more. Of course, Kubota, who have supplied us with a couple of tractors, which I'm not allowed to touch.
You're banned, are you?
Oh, yeah, I don't think they want me on the tractor.
And I suppose another really large one, that how could we forget? Rocket Industries.
Absolutely. Yeah, Rocket Industries. Yeah, big thank you to them as well. They are massive. I can't wait till they move into their new premises. If you are in Sydney and you've been down Huntingwood Drive, well, you can't miss it.
No.
It is huge.
It's massive, isn't it?
Yeah, and I actually caught up with a couple of guys from the Aeroflow Performance Nitro Funny Car team, and they'll be moving eventually into where Rocket is now. So you'll be able to drive past, see the big Rocket, and then drive a little bit further up the road, and they'll have the workshop there, which is great, which will be a lot easier for them as well, because they'll be in closer proximity to the track. Now, unfortunately, we've got a Honda being pushed back, so, yeah.
Bit of a shame, first timer.
Yeah, it is a shame, but look, hopefully it's nothing bad, and Euro R will be able to get back out. No, Gus, man, I actually did not have my Weet-Bix today. It's just, I was down in the pits earlier, and the big Chevy truck with the supercharger, they were warming it up, and there was a little bit of nice smelling fuel vapors coming out of it, and they just woke the rocket up. So, yeah.
Fed that need.
Oh, yeah. That's what race fuel does to you. Brad, yeah, no, I don't know if it's a Barris swapped Honda. You know, you never say never, but I'm guessing in the Honda scene, I don't think so.
That would be a different one.
It would be. I would.
Barra are a very big motor.
I mean, yeah, it is drag racing, but, you know. I mean, Brad, to be fair, mate, that'd be like Panel Van Man. You know, if he put a Barra in something other than a Ford, you know. All right, we've got another Honda down here in the Aeroflow lane. Sammy Joe, not too far away either, in the Dialed In Racing VE Commodore, one of our Street Fighter competitors. Great bunch of people, the Dialed In Racing team. Of course, Power Plus Race Fuels, they help them out a fair bit as well. Alan Stevenson and Martin Stevenson.
Do we know where they are, Stu? Whereabouts Power Plus Fuels are?
I believe they're in Penrith.
Oh, are they?
I could be wrong. I know Brett is actually floating around out the back. Brett, if I'm right or wrong, if you could send me a message through, but I'm pretty sure Power Plus Race Fuels based up around Penrith.
Okay. I'd like to find out what fuels they keep there.
Oh, they've got a fair bit there. I don't know exactly what fuel they're running in these super street cars.
And yeah, that good corn fuel.
Absolutely.
So we don't have a real big outlet round Penrith for that fuel. So
No, I don't believe they run methanol. It's definitely not methanol. No. I'm not sure if it's a 100 octane unleaded they're running in the car, because obviously, as most people are aware, and particularly for our people that are watching overseas, like in America and Germany, a number of years ago, our government stopped leaded fuels being used, so everybody had to change to unleaded base fuels, and that was something that a lot of the pro stock teams had to get their head around, and it didn't take them long to get their head around from a leaded fuel to an unleaded fuel.
11.69, 114 miles an hour to a 16.0, 87 miles an hour.
All right, we've got the Honda CR-V about to come out. This thing's got a sunroof in it already. Now, sunroofs and drag racing, particularly here on a Wednesday night, generally don't go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And he's going to be taking on a first timer.
Actually, just
Well,
rolling him out.
Maybe just rolling him out. Not quite sure what the problem is. Maybe in the wrong lane. But it's great to see plenty of first timers here tonight for our Honda versus Haters theme night here at Aeroflow Race for Real. Tell you what, Mark, it's great to be up here in the studio and look down into the spectator viewing area, and just the amount of people that are really watching the racing. It's great to see. I wouldn't say it's full, but it's a great amount of people we've got there.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
And particularly to all our fans as well that are up in the grandstand and in Kids Corner as well. D, you won't see me on Saturday. Unfortunately, I have to work. I've got a kitchen run in the morning, so unfortunately I won't be here for Jamboree. I wish I was, because it's right up my alley. I'll be at work cheering on all the Rotaries. I might even send Bushy a message and say go to Rotaries. Might even send him a Mazda emblem as well, just to put him in a happy mood. I might even send one to Diggles, if Chris Diggles is coming down. Actually, if Terry Dale's coming down from Queensland, he's a rotor head as well.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, Terry's like rotary full stop. I reckon he's got it tattooed across his chest.
Well, 12.2, 112 miles an hour to a 14.1 for the Aeroflow lane.
Well, this Toyota Starlet has surprised me. It's actually quicker than what I expected. Certainly, I was not expecting the pass that it ran.
Was that the Starlet turning tyres then?
I don't know if it was the Starlet or the car down the Aeroflow lane, because it made a big move at around 330 foot of the racetrack, from 1369 with an 8 to a 1497. As we've got another Honda Integra out now in the Aeroflow lane, about to take on the i30N sedan. Actually, I was going to ask too, Sicko and Gus Man. I noticed that Click Click hasn't been on the live stream yet tonight. I'd like to know if he's a Honda fan or a hater fan. Is that an Audi down there in the rocket lane?
It is, yep.
Very nice.
We've got the Audi up against the Honda. We're usually always saying that the Honda would have to be on its game, but I think the Audi is going to have to be on its game, because this is one quick Honda.
Yeah, well, we've had a number of quick Audis here the last couple of weeks, but Coin 2R, 2.06 in the 60. Not moving around as much on this pass, and a 1093 with a forward 140 to an 1157 for the Audi.
Yeah, well, I wonder if they've just softened that up a bit on the tune, because the miles an hour is not huge, but it's looking a lot more responsive on the track, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks
it's
great.
It's not moving as much.
All right, we've got this nice looking Subaru WRX about to come out now. He's going to be taking on this Honda Civic Type R.
Yeah, his white wheels do actually look good on that car, don't they?
It does. I'm white wheels. Whilst I respect the guys and girls that put white wheels on the car, you've really got to have the car to suit them.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of white wheels, but yeah, they do look good on that car.
I normally you see white and blue. Very rarely do you see the red with the white wheels, but I actually quite like it. It's fresh. Oh, come on, Sicko. You saying go to the WRX? Ah, thanks, Benj.
That's fine.
Thank you, mate. Yeah, we've got Benji up here in the studio with us. I know he's a hater.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a hater all the way. You ride a Suzuki. There's probably a lot of people going to go, oh, Ben's there, why isn't he racing? Hey, you'd have to ask Ben. Yeah. What's that, Sicko? Yellow is quicker. Yeah, red cars go faster, Sicko, but for photos, definitely yellow's a much better colour.
Well, I think this yellow one might be going to go a bit quicker.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's got to try and get around the Subi first.
Well, he's chasing him down. I think he might run out of real estate, though.
He's heading towards the centre line, though. A 12.74. Geez, he was awfully close
to 129 miles an hour.
He was awfully close to that 1,000-foot marker.
It was indeed. WRX had it off the line, but top end, as Hondas do, they just produce the power.
Yeah, the VTEC kicks in, and they go past and go, yo! Speaking about going yo, I saw Eden's ute out the back. Eden has a tendency to do that. Ah, Eden's got a fuel leak, really? Oh, Eden, what are you doing, mate? It's not like your car to have a problem. Oh, man. Man, I can't get over how good this night is. I was a bit unsure, marking what this Honda versus Haters night was going to be like. But I'll tell you what, when we've got Coin 2R here, we've got the Tran brothers here with the MR2.
Yep.
We've got Ali here with Back Down from Elite Auto House. And the big Chevy truck with the supercharger and some awesome looking hot rods out the back there. Man, what a night.
It was it is a really good roll-up of cars. Yeah, it surprised me when I drove in. Yeah, unbelievable.
Well, nice 1396 to a 1558, 87 miles an hour in the rocket lane. As we've got another Honda Civic coming out now. This one like an aqua colour. The aqua blue. It's got a sunroof as well. So fingers crossed the sunroof doesn't depart the car. There we are, guys. A little shot of the staging lanes, bustling with activity down the back there. So you can see the fast lane is about to come out. It's not too far away, but we'll turn our eyes back to the track. And we've got the Honda Civic Type R against the earlier model Honda Civic. What was that? Show us your hog. I don't ride a motorcycle. I don't actually have my motorcycle license, so there you go. All right, well the Type R, 2.23 in the 60. Here comes the Honda in the rocket lane, trying to chase him down. And a 13.22 to a winning 13.67, just reaction time, just not helping him. As we've got another early model Civic. This one has got, well, I wouldn't say it's a roll cage, but it's definitely got some bar work behind that rear window.
Yeah, looks like it's got a half cage in it.
Yeah, it might do. I'll tell you what, he's taking on another early model Honda in the rocket lane. Yeah, Brad, we're located, the commentary booth is directly behind the lanes, and we're the big window on the second floor. And I'm sitting directly behind the Aeroflow lane, and Mark is probably got the better view of the track because he's pretty much sitting in the center of the track. So it's good because Mark picks up a lot of stuff that I don't, mainly because he is actually in the center, so you can see the side, you can see the attitude of the car, and Mark's a racer as well, so Mark can read the body language of the cars as well. Now, is that a Porsche?
Porsche.
It's not the Porsche that we normally get, the red 911,
no,
but it's a Porsche all the same. Well, Brad, Mark is a racer. Mark and Paul Galvin used to race at Tirana. Mark's, as I said, Mark understands the body language of the car. That's why I love commentating with Mark, because Mark understands what's happening with the cars at the time.
Sort of.
Well, you know, a lot more than me anyway. A lot more than me, so. I understand race cars, but street cars, a little bit different. All right. Now this is going to be an interesting race because Joe gets a little bit of work done by Team Karam.
Yep.
And Team Karam are out now in King LS. Joe out in his Datsun Skyline.
So Joe's just naturally aspirated at the moment.
Yep.
No boost at all.
Brad just said if you keep going, I'll have to invite Mark to my wedding. Brad, Steve just asked us that on the proposal. I didn't say it. Well, it's like when I like commentating with Steve at our major events because he's a racer. Steve's a racer in his own right as well, and he understands the characteristics of the cars and how they move around. He's pretty much on the money every time something goes slightly askew or something not quite right. I mean, all of us have our own little niches.
Yeah, we all work in together really well. Covers all aspects of the whole racing.
Well, obviously too, I'm an ex-radio presenter, so for me, you know, I understand the sponsor side of things and the entertainment side of things.
But you've been down the track a fair few times as well, Stu, so you understand what it's about.
Ah, look at this thing go, 1.84 in the 60, supercharged, heaven big block. And a 1082 with a 125. Oh man, those photographers just got the best photos down there. I'm telling you.
11.1, 133 miles an hour.
Hey, Brad just said Steve can plan the Bucks night. Well, Brad, if that's the case, that means that Steve would have to get a few hot rods. Alright, we're into the bikes.
No, you just bring those other things.
Oh.
Those blue
those
badged
blue
cars.
Yeah, he'd be on the phone he'd be on the phone to Galvo. Can I borrow your Mustang? Alright, the old plater coming out now on the Kawasaki. The old plater on the Kawasaki. Just a Team Karen, mate. Just slow it down a little bit, mate, on the return road, please. There is a speed limit on our return road. Oh, yeah, the Sentinel coming out now. Nice, big, strong burnout. I'll tell you what, it'd be an interesting car to drive 10 seconds down the quarter mile in.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
I mean, what do you reckon it'd be like to drive, Mark? Because obviously it's got a fairly high centre of gravity to it.
I think it'd be a bit light.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's like aerodynamic of a brick. But it's dead straight down the track, doesn't move around, so it's really well set up. And like 120 miles an hour at 10.7, so yeah, I think it would be a really good drive.
It's just impressive just how straight it goes.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
As you said, it's got the aerodynamics of a brick. It's fantastic to see the big Chevy truck back out. Of course, Day of the Drags, on the weekend, as I mentioned, you know, it's our nostalgia meet for the year, and it's a fantastic event, well represented. Actually, I read a lot of the feedback as well from certain people that were watching by Facebook and YouTube, and they said they absolutely loved it. The people that were here at the track, they said they really enjoyed the day. Brad said that would get you to wedding photos in no time, Mark. All right, this Ute, Ford Ute, yes, Panel Van Man, there is a Ford Ute racing tonight, taking on the Commodore.
And it has got something very tough under the bonnet. Just previous pass, it just didn't want to leave the line, did it? Just torched tyres.
It did, it just turned the tyres and yeah.
I'm voting a Barra. Got the HSV in the Aeroflow lane. Oh, and again, just massively turning tyres.
Now, normally you say when it's spinning, get off it.
Pretty much.
But it actually stayed fairly straight. Still runs at 15.06 at 110 miles an hour, mind you.
And 12.4, 110 miles an hour. But as we know, Stu, that it can just turn on a dime, innit? With a blink of an eye.
Yes, we've seen that in the Mustang.
Yep.
Actually, Sicko just wrote in and said, funny if it's LS powered.
I could understand it doing what it's doing.
Absolutely. All right, got the Willis back out in the Aeroflow lane. Great looking car, this one. The front of it looks like a Jeep.
Yes.
But thankfully we've got the Bushman up here in the studio, so he's helped us out, the identification of the car. And we've got that nitrous assisted hot rod, black hot rod in the rocket lane. She's gone 1.86 in the 60, but I'll tell you what, the Willis is keeping him honest, and he drives around him a 12.61 to a 13.41. Man, I would... oh, yeah. A little bit of flash of flame like they do in the 60s in the movies. I'd love to know what it's underneath the bonnet of that thing, because it sounds tough.
It is tough, isn't it? You know, like that thing, he was just pedaling that car off the line, and it just wouldn't get traction at all.
Hey, we've got a question come through. Oi, Stuart, has there been any 5 litres tonight? 5 litre Commodores?
Well, we've got the VH Commodore that was running, and the VL, but not sure if they were 5 litres or not, because we don't have engine specs or anything anymore on it. I'd probably say the VH was. It sounded like a 5 litre. Yep. They've just got that unique sound to them. So I'd say it'd be a 355 stroker.
Yep.
Talking of the car.
Speak the devil. He's going to have a run against the Ford Anglia. Or as Ben calls it, the Angria. Well, a little bit of nitrous on this Commodore as well.
Yeah. It just sounds... Yeah. That's why I stuck with the 5 litre MEU. It just has that sound to them. They just sound great.
And they go good when they got nitrous on them as well.
Yes.
But I love the paint job of this Anglia. The red with yellow flames, I reckon it looks sick.
Yeah, it's real typical hot rod, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Well, I'll tell you what, the Commodore out 1.55 in the 60. Another nice straight pass down the rocket lane. A 10.65 at a 126 to a 12.45 and 114 as the VTEC, too quick, comes back out. High Comp Performance, who have built the engine for this car. I know that Ian told me he wanted to come out tonight, but he had a few issues with his car. So unfortunately, Ian couldn't make it here tonight, but hopefully we'll see him back in the future.
Well, he's up against the VW Golf.
1.78 in the 64, the Commodore 1.96 in the 60. Better reaction time for the Volkswagen, but the Commodore running on through with a 10.42 with a 9. 136 is running radials on the rear end of that car, but they're only a small set of radials.
And 12.1, 115 for the Rocket Lane. Okay, just holding up the cars at the moment.
Panel van man, he's decided. Oh, you've been painting, have you? Oh, you've been painting your Ford so that it doesn't look rusty. Just a question. I mean, I'm sure a lot of other people would be asking the same question. You know.
Huh. That's why they put the paint on thick, holds it together.
Well, we've got the red lights flashing. I can see somebody down the end of the track. Yes, my eyes are not that bad. I can see someone down the end. Our fireys. So the thing is, they can't hear me, but I can see them.
Yes. Well, we just have our track crew out on having a look at the track at the moment. In the meantime, we have the Mercedes-Benz. And is that a Pulsar down here, Stu?
It is a Pulsar. Yes, it's not a Triple S, but it's a Pulsar. It's taking on the Mercedes, which has got a big white lot of paper on the rear end, which tells me it might be a for sale sign. Only driven on Wednesdays. Well, how's that coming up? Look, coming up the return road. The Anglia coming up the return road. That thing looks cool. I like it. You've got the black hot rod behind it, the high comp performance assisted Commodore, and the Volkswagen. Good opportunities for some photos if you're up in the grandstand.
We're still under red light at the moment. We might even go up to the big screen, Stu. We'll take a little bit of a break, get some word from our sponsors. You'll hear Aeroflow, race for real Honda and haters.
Yeah, Honda versus haters.
Funded a pilot program for you to run that enabled you to bring some vision-impaired kids onto the Saints Play program.
Oh wow, that would mean the world. My reward is the smile on the kids' faces.
And since you've given so much to others, we'd also like to do something for you personally. How would it feel if Pepper sent you, your partner, and your daughter Molly to the Gold Coast for a few days?
Yeah, awesome. I don't know what to say. It amazes me. Thank you very much.
BikeReview.com.au is Australia's leading website for performance and modified motorcycles. BikeReview.com.au is the only motorcycle-focused website to feature motorcycle drag racing on a regular basis. And in the words of editor Jeff Ware, our involvement with Sydney Dragway is our way of putting back into one of our favourite sports. BikeReview.com.au.
Bank said no to your home loan? Talk to us.
Not a bank.
Talk to Australia's real-life non-bank for home loans, car loans, personal loans. Pepper Money, the home of loan options.
I have this incredible drive to succeed. I've just got this ambition. I want to get on the podium. I think there's a lot of people that have an older mentality and don't think women belong in motorsport. And that's one thing I'd like to prove a lot of people wrong. It's you in the car and it's your ambition and your drive to win. As soon as that helmet goes on, that's it. I'm Brooke Newson. I'm a sprint car and outlaw car driver.
I've chosen to use VP racing fuel since I was a teenager racing motocross, which was 21 years ago now. I just have a really personal trust with VP racing fuels.
Running on the ragged edge of blowing up and not, a lot of it has to do with the race fuel, and that's what we rely on, VP racing fuels.
VP has been making racing fuel for 43 years. They're the official fuel of multiple top series globally. No matter where we are in the world, no matter what fuel we need, it's always consistent, it's always perfect and exactly what we're expecting and our tuners expecting. They support myself, my Drift Alliance bros, and for that, I'm extremely thankful. Keep making amazing fuels, and we'll keep out there having fun.
Drag racing is not just about the horsepower. There is also some cool science at play right here on the racetrack. These drag strips aren't just regular concrete. We treat it with a special kind of glue often referred to as traction compound. I usually twist my foot and it's all... This is designed to ramp up the traction of the track's surface. It's getting worse by the minute for us racers to go straight and fast. In drag racing, every millisecond counts. That's why the teams adjust the car's setup to suit the track conditions. Teams can assess the traction on the track by using this interesting device called a traction meter gauge. The bottom of the device has a rubber pad that mimics a racing slick. To measure the track's grip value, the user stands on the base, ensuring the rubber pad bonds with the racing surface. Turning the torque arm on the top of the device will rotate the rubber pad. When the bond breaks, the user will see a number on the dial. Teams can then use this number to help create baselines for grip within their respective setup.
Putting a street car through to a race car? Be sure to think of Aeroflow Performance. The ever-increasing range that started with just hose, fittings and fuel system components has grown to include boosted turbochargers, bang shift shifters, X-Pro ignition and electrical accessories, Bosch motorsport products, fabrication parts, as well as driveline and engine components. With an exceptional distribution network and inventory, Aeroflow products are always within reach. With more to come in the future, be sure to keep an eye out at aeroflowperformance.com.
Bang shift shifters.
Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here to Aeroflow Race for Real. It is our Honda versus Haters theme night. And as you just saw through our ads, Kevin Waters Towing, one of our great sponsors here at Sydney Dragway. And, you know, you talk about tow trucks around Sydney, they are always immaculately presented as well. Kevin Waters towing.
Sadly enough, Kevin passed away not that long ago, but his sons are carrying the name and the business, and doing a great job of it.
All right, we're back with our attention on track, and it's a good old Holden versus Ford. We've got the Commodore in the rocket lane, the Falcon in the Aeroflow lane.
This Falcon just winding it up top end, but just well and truly run out of real estate. 14.4, 103 miles an hour for the rocket lane, and 10.6, 141 for the Falcon.
That's a great pass there for the Falcon. Bill Hatzinecolis out now in the rocket lane, or Bill Hatzy for short. Taking on the little Honda Civic. Down here in the Aeroflow lane. Oh, the Honda, a little bit of attitude off the start line. 1.69 in the 60. Has just gone around Bill Hattie. Bill's probably thinking, what is going on now? How? I've got to hold it.
Yeah, 11.1, 129 miles an hour. What a big top end. And 14.0 for the HQ Ute.
I've just had a message come through from Brad. Hey, Brad, you're no relation to a Stuart, are you? From here in Sydney? He's just asked, though, is the Barra engine exclusive to Australia?
Yes.
Yes. Yes,
it's been not anymore because the Americans just virtually pulled up nearly everything we had over here because they just realised what an absolute weapon of a motor it is. Yeah. But yeah, it was a local design.
Well, the good thing about Jamboree this weekend, if the car is going to be here, there is a drag car from Melbourne. I think it might be Dynamite Performance. They've got a Barra Turbo.
Yep.
That they run in a full chassis car. So if that car comes to Jamboree this weekend, keep your eyes out for that one. Of course, the Atomic Performance, they've been around the Barra scene.
Yep. Well, look, there's even a one of the Formula boats has got a Barra in it, and it is doing a lot of good stuff. It's winning a lot of races. They reckon that they went from the V8 to the Barra, and yeah, it was just such a big change.
Yeah, it's an engine that I guess to a certain degree, you know, a lot of people that had Falcons in the past, you know, obviously the V8s with the, you know, they had the Coyotes and a lot of the older motors that they had. I mean, the Coyotes are more modern, I should say, but the older like the Clevos and the Windsors and so forth. I think the Barra really took a lot of people by surprise.
Yep.
Obviously, you know, there's that stigma where I've got a Falcon, it's got to be a V8. And then they put the Barra Turbo into it. And then people realise, oh man, hang on a second. I don't have to spend a huge amount of money on this to get it to go quick.
Yeah, it was easy horsepower.
It was.
And like the motor before the Barra, you sort of had to work pretty hard to produce the same type of horsepower.
Yeah.
And it wasn't as bulletproof. And yeah, I think the early days of the Barra, the guys were just finding, look, everyone was going all the LPG motors and realising that they didn't have to do a lot of work to get them to where they can really start producing horsepower. And then they started going to the billets and everything, you know, like the improvements from there, and it was just going massive horsepower, and that's why the Americans, you know, seen a couple of hours, and then just started buying them by the crateful.
And I think the other thing is too, I mean, particularly here in Australia, you know, the Barra was really primarily used here in drag racing. We didn't really see it in other forms of motorsport, which is a bit of a surprise because I would have thought circuit racing, you know, in particular, like Empire Performance, for example, those guys, you know, have been doing the barriers here in Sydney, and they're very, very quick. But I would have been interested to see it in a circuit car application, and particularly in like I wouldn't say GT racing, but a GT-esque style of motorsport, because we know what they can do on the drag strip, but it'd be nice to see them tested in a circuit racing and enduro situation as well.
I think the only thing that lets the barrier down is the size of the motor. Like if you're putting in something that, you know, if you're making the decision between a barrier and a V8, well, you know, you're going to have that little bit of extra room, but, you know, like they are still a large motor. And that's, you know, where other engines come in, you know, like a 2J. 2Js produce the same type of quick, easy horsepower, and they don't have the same large size as what a barrier does. Maybe, you know, that is why you don't see it in those other cars. I'm not really sure, Stu. Yeah, that's the only way I would be thinking. Yeah, you want something that sits, especially in circuit cars. You want something that sits nice, low, you know, center of like moving it back into mid-mounting and stuff like that. Then, you know, if you've got a really high motor, you're running out of room, aren't you?
Yes. Yep. Well, I mean, I guess really, if you were to on that subject, I think if you were to put it into a circuit racing application, I think really the only class you could maybe stick it in would be sports sedans, because they are tube frame, space frame cars.
Yeah.
All right, well, we've got another classic Honda Integra down here, Type R. And this little Toyota Starlet. Now, unfortunately, looks like the VK might be have either gone too quick.
It does have the parachute and everything on it.
Yeah.
So maybe it has all the gear, but just not teched. And for all those people that do all these documentaries and everything, I'd like to see a documentary on the creation of the barra.
Yeah, I reckon that would be awesome.
Where they originated from, you know, like how it ended up to where it is.
Yeah. That might be something that Andrew Hawkins and Motive DVD could put together.
13.0, 120 miles an hour for the Aeroflow lane, to a 15.5 at 102 miles an hour for the Rocket.
All right, Coin 2R back out. New all-wheel drive system on this car. New tyres. Now, they're not actual drag radials that they're running on this car.
Okay.
They're still very much like a Mickey Thompson ET Street style of tyre. But 1.84 on the 60 this time. Definitely looking a lot straighter, still moving around a little bit, but a 10.52 at 143.7.
And 14.3 at 99 miles an hour, so I wonder if they're just starting to turn it back up again.
Well, if they are, they're doing it the right way. Just small, minuscule little twists, just to see where the car is and where the happiest point is. Did move around slightly, but it wasn't as noticeable as it's been previously.
Yeah, exactly. Well, 14.11.1, 126 miles an hour for the Rocket Lane to a 14.5, 97 miles an hour for the Aeroflow. Okay, we're just having a little bit of a mop-up down in the Rocket Lane. So this time of night, we usually get a little bit of condensation from the exhaust of the cars. Okay, we've got the Lancer up against the Honda.
Just the guys on the live stream, guys, just maybe tone it down a little bit. Definitely no swearing on the live stream, please, guys. All right, Ali back out now in the Elite Auto House. Evo. 2.3 litre billet. I believe it's got a billet motor in it. I know that they were looking for a new motor for this car after it had a bit of an engine blow up last time they brought it out. Mind you, that engine had done a lot of passes.
Yep, okay.
Ah, 9.20 with a 470.67 miles per hour for Ali in the Elite Auto House Evo. And by Evo standards, Mark, that was very tame.
Yes, yes indeed.
Normally they move around a fair bit.
Yeah, they're absolutely impressive to watch. The night we had the four of them out here, it was just unbelievable. The guys had turned them right up, and yeah, they were just on a bit of a ragged edge, weren't they? They were just all over the track.
Yeah, they were well into the 8-second zone.
And they were driving hard.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, it's a bit weird, actually, because, you know, when you look at a car like that, you think to yourself, you want them to be on a properly prepped track.
Yep.
As we would do for competition cars. But for some reason, these Evos really like this street meet prep.
Yeah. And they don't run huge tyres on them either.
Yeah, just to the guys that are watching via YouTube, particularly two of you, and I know who you are, just cut out. It's about cars and enjoying the racing. We don't need any other politics brought into the live stream. So I know who you are. Just cut it out, guys, please. Now, speaking about a Barra, here's the Barra F-Truck out in the Rocket Lane. And he's taking on the BYP Racing MR2. Sicko, yeah, we don't really need that on the live stream, thank you, mate.
10.8, 137 miles an hour to an 11.9, 99 miles an hour.
Yeah. Yeah, just a Sicko and Illigy 5R, 5R9. Guys, just cut it out, please. Otherwise, we will be banning you from up on the chat. Okay, that's not what the chat's about. I know, Sicko, you're not normally like that, mate, but please don't stir the pot. All right, the Honda CR-V up against the Civic Del Sol. Now, I never thought I'd say a Honda CR-V would be almost beating a Honda Civic, but I'll tell you what, maybe not over the quarter mile, but the 8th mile, he was out in front, only just.
Well, this car down in the rocker lane, it's an import.
It looks like an import.
Those lights on the back. And it just, previous path, big miles an hour.
It's just a sicko, and LG, you guys need to cut it out, okay? You guys need to cut that out on the live stream. There are kids that watch the live stream as well, and what you guys are talking about is not needed on our live stream here for City Dragway. So I'd suggest all your comments be deleted, or if you want to continue in the chat, you are more than welcome, but do not bring up any of that. There are kids watching. And Jack, we don't we don't really need that one, mate. Oh, I got the Honda Civic about to take on the Audi. Oh, look at the smoke coming out of the Audi. Oh, spinning the tyres and got off it, just had to move.
14.0, 103 miles an hour to a 16.7, 104 miles an hour.
All right, Smoke and Joe Sabello coming out now in the rocket lane. About to take on the Honda Integra. Yeah, I'm pretty keen for Joe to put the supercharger on the car.
Yes. Yeah, especially with this big cute motor now.
It should be interesting if he does, because be interested to see whether he, with this motor, touch wood with the extra torque, I wonder if that'll put him back into the 8.
Oh, yeah. Well, this motor, like you said, he was in the car previously, but it wasn't stroked up to over 400. It was free something or other. What was that?
Yeah, Brad, Joe's car that just went down, it's a Datsun Skyline. So, not a Nissan. Before Nissan, it was a Datsun Skyline. It is actually, that car, Brad, was actually used to be a circuit car. And then Joe bought it.
Yep.
And turned it into a drag car. And I guess it's the old faithful for Joe, really, isn't it? He's had a lot of success with it.
Yep, he has. He built the other one, the is it a 200 or a 180 SX, isn't it? To be a lighter car with that running gear in it. He wanted to run it down to the 7s.
Yeah, well, I mean, that Commodore of his, you know, it's, in fairness to Joe, I think there's a lot of head scratching that's been going on with that car as well.
Yeah.
Because obviously he built it to run into the 7s.
Yep.
But you know yourself, Mark, that's easier said than done, isn't it?
Oh,
it's not easy to do.
No. No, there's so many factors that to get a car to that, down into those numbers. 0, 98 miles an hour. And no time recorded for the bike. I think he might have just rolled and broke the beam a little bit early and then just sat there and waited till he was asked to move on by the starter.
All right, back into the hot rods. Oh, big turn of the tyre there from the convertible. Didn't help him too much in the 60. But a 12.95 in the rocket lane. Look, we must say a big thank you once again to all the members of the Hot Rod Club that are here tonight, that have brought the cars out for a bit of friendly off-street drag racing for against each other, but also really showing the younger generation what really where drag racing started.
Yep.
Really.
Absolutely. It did. Yep. It was, can't remember if it was Vietnam or Korean War. A lot of the guys returned back. Oh, that's Ford. Actually, might have been the Second World War. I've seen a special on about hot rodding where it all started. I think it might have been the Second World War. Yeah, a lot of guys that come back, and yeah, just started building a lot of these cars.
Yeah. And really, you know, back in the early days too, that's what hot rodding was really about, wasn't it?
Yes.
It's about, this is what I've got, what can I do with it to make it go quicker?
Yep.
And it's still really got that rock and roll feel to it, which is why I love that side of the car scene as well, because, you know, you go to a rockabilly concert or festival, and a lot of the time you see the hot rods.
Yes.
And it's just a great vibe.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, well, back then there wasn't a lot of technology. There wasn't a lot of stuff out there, so they had to fabricate so much stuff.
Oh, I'll tell you what, 0.084 on the tree from the little Capri. 1.55 in the 60. This car is awesome. 10.47 with 2 at 129. That is nice and straight down the rocket lane.
And 11.9, 114 for the Aeroflow lane.
All right, got the Willis back out. The Woody taking on the Ford Anglia. Actually been pretty impressed with this Willis tonight. It's obviously a much bigger car than the Anglia, but if you look at the 60-foot times and the passes in general, there really isn't that much between them.
Yeah.
It's only really that Anglia. I don't know the weight difference between the two, but I dare say there wouldn't be that much difference.
No, you wouldn't think so, would you?
Oh, we've got this nitrous-assisted black hot rod down here in the Aeroflow lane.
Oh, moved around a fair bit off the line. 11.6, 121 miles an hour for the Aeroflow lane to an 11.9, 114 miles an hour. Got the VX Commodore up against the VH.
Well, I got Brando coming out now in the Aeroflow lane. About to take on another Commodore. Haven't seen this Brando Commodore for a little while. It's good to see the car back here on a Wednesday night. Well, 1261 there for Brando, 113 miles an hour there. That's a good one as we've got the BMW about to come out against the Falcon. Now, to be fair, the last few weeks we've had a fair few Falcons out here at Race for Real. This is our lone Falcon this evening. Of course, if we've got a Holden versus Ford night coming up later on in the year, that should be pretty
That
big.
would be very interesting.
That would be very big, because we will see it. We'll see V8 versus V8, Barra Turbo versus V8.
What about Barra versus Toyota?
Yeah. We'll have the Crossflow Fords make their way out, because we're been fairly lucky here in the last few months. We've had a lot of the XD, XE Falcons make their way out, the earlier model Falcons. Of course, last week we had Ross Bilby, who brought his new car out. First time it hit the track. It's going to be a good car once he gets that sorted.
Yeah, well, there's lots of good, like, new builds being done out there. Yeah. Ross has been building that car for a long time. And all the running gear come out of his Cortina, went into it. Dave Muscat.
Yeah, Dave Muscat.
He's been building his for a while. Everything out of his Mustang went into it.
Yeah, I don't know if Dave's getting a little bit frustrated that he hasn't got the car ready yet.
His engine builder was dragging him out, I think.
Oh, okay.
From conversations.
Yes.
That he was taking a fair while with the motor.
Yeah, yep. Was that a full rebuild, Mark, or just a or just new rings? And
I think it's
so?
a freshen up.
Freshen up, yeah. Yeah, okay. Well, I'll tell you what, this Honda sounding nice and aggressive off the launch, 1.66 in the 60. 1091, 128 miles an hour. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. That is a fantastic achievement there for that little Honda.
And 14.3 at 100 miles an hour for the Rocket Lane.
Actually, that's a good one. XNNRA, Barra versus RB. That would be a good one. That would be pretty cool.
That would be good, yeah.
Actually, on that subject of RB, this weekend for Jamboree, I believe that Anthony Matuk is bringing VL God back out.
Well, what about, and this is going to open it right up, 2J, Barra, RB.
Oh, yes, yes. Yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool. I mean, if you, that would be good.
Because that's the battle of the three big horsepower 6 cylinders.
And what I love about that too is that, you know, we know the Barras have been very quick for a number of years. We know the 2Js have had a lot of development behind them, but the RB30s are like, look, they've always been there.
Yep.
You know, Matuk's Racing and a lot of the other, you know, car workshops, they've been working on those cars for a long, long time with research and development. And those RBs, they are, like, they're almost there. They're almost at 2J level around the world when it comes to proper drag racing. And I mean that championship drag racing. So I'll tell you what, Mark. You know, we've seen what Anthony can do in VL God. I'm expecting big things this weekend. If the conditions are right,
yep,
and the track will definitely be there, but if the conditions are right,
yep.
I'll tell you what, I would bank on that setting a new PB.
Yeah, I was going to say we'd see some records.
Oh, I think we might. All right, Coin 2R coming out now in the Aeroflow lane, taking on the Mitsubishi Lancer. Well, 1.90 in the 60 this time. And a 1042 with a 6, 144. So I don't know. Well, I'm wondering if they didn't change too much on that car, because potentially the air could be a bit cooler out there, a little bit better.
Mm.
Or they may have just whipped it up just a little bit.
Yeah, because it's not 60 footing really well, is it, for for an all-wheel drive?
No.
So I suppose, you know, like, if they're still doing a lot more testing with the car.
Yeah, that would be a good one, Panel Van Man. Barra versus V6 Ecotech. Of course, there was a Commodore a number of years ago from Queensland. It used to race up Willowbank.
Mm-hmm.
That was a 1,000 horsepower Ecotech turbo V6.
Yeah. Not a real lot of people play with the Ecotech.
Yeah.
Yeah. A bit of work with the supercharged one, you know, like. Yeah, not a real lot of people do play with them.
Yeah, I mean...
Burnout cars? Yeah.
Yeah, oh, look, they probably play with them a little bit more than they did with the Alotech.
Yep.
Obviously, the V6s, and it's no secret that the V6s in the VEs weren't quite that good.
No. Not for drag racing, you sort of, you know, they're probably your free big 6-cylinder motos for your drag racing.
Yeah, Cam's Barra, Jamboree going to have a live feed. Yes, as far as I'm aware, it will. I'm not sure whether it will be our live feed, though. It may go through the Jamboree page. I'm not 100% sure. But I'll tell you what, it's going to be a massive day of racing here on Saturday. And if you love Factory Extreme as much as I do, make sure you come out for that one. As I mentioned earlier tonight, Paul Mahayat back behind the wheel of the Gas Celica.
Yep.
Zoran Gargic will be here in the Gas BMW.
Yep.
And they know that's my favourite car out of that stable. Of course, Pro Turbo will be here. Eddie Harwark in the Enviro Racing Mazda RX-7 with the Gas 2J in it. Yeah, actually, you know, Jack Matuk's package Barra. Hey, you know what, Jack? I wouldn't put it past them, honestly. You know, Anthony's team there at Matuk's Racing, obviously they know the RB and the packages they build are very, very good. But, you know, I wouldn't put it past any workshop to have a crack at a Barra and do stuff with it for their customers, potential customers.
Well, that's the thing. If customers come in and say, you know, like, build me this.
Yeah.
I don't see too many of them turning them away.
No, absolutely not. And I think too, and you and I spoke about this last week as well, you know, if you're a workshop, it is known for the RB30s, that's your bread and butter.
Yep.
But if you can branch out into something else,
yeah,
there's another option for your customer or a potential customer.
Well, you're not putting all your eggs in one basket, are you?
Well, that's exactly right, yeah. Oh, look, Joe, look, any good packages from a workshop aren't cheap. You know, you pay for what you get.
Yeah. And it depends on where you want to be.
That's right.
What type of horsepower you're looking for. You know, like you can go into a workshop and go, I want 1,000 horsepower. Well,
yeah.
Okay, you want to build a block.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, the more. Oh, geez, that's moving round. You don't want to be moving around like that at the end of the track.
No, I truly believe, and it's, you know, parts aren't cheap.
No.
You know, and that's the reality of it. Parts are not cheap. And also, I think too that, you know, if you are going to go down that line of getting billet products made, you know, that's a massive expense in itself.
Well,
just for the block.
Yeah, that's big horsepower stuff. You know, like, yeah.
I mean, you look at Arlie down there with the Elite Auto House Evo. I think from memory, after the last motor went, boom, I'm pretty sure I did read that Arlie was looking at putting a billet block in that car.
Yep.
And I mean, he does a lot of work on that car himself. He's obviously got part suppliers overseas that he's in contact with, being a workshop.
Yep.
But once again, it's trying to get the parts. I mean, we know, and Steve knows this as well, you know, particularly when you get into some of our more professional brackets like Top Fuel and Top Fuel Motorcycle, and even Pro Stock, you know, to get a crank made is super expensive. Okay, you've paid the money, but then as one of the race teams told me, they go, I've bought it, but I'm a number.
Yeah.
So I might have 30, 40 people in front of me before they even get around to building my crank. And then they've got to send it from the US here to Australia.
Yep.
So there's added expense and time. So, you know, I guess building an engine, depending on what you're going to build, that's the factor in itself as well, you know?
Yeah.
All right, we've got the Barra F-Truck ripping out a massive burnout, but he's taking on the BYP Racing MR2. Oh, the F-Truck. Massive lot of attitude off the start line. 1.96 in the 60 from the MR2. And a 9.76 with a 165 miles per hour. The F-Truck, though, no slouch, a 10.34 with an 8 and 139.
Yeah, they've definitely turned up that MR, haven't they?
And I think the conditions out there are probably favouring a lot of these turbo cars at the moment as well.
Yeah, the air. Yep, the air would be really good. Well, 12,810 miles now for the Rocket Lane. 16.5, 87 miles now for the Aeroflow lane. Well, Joe goes out, 0.016. Commodore is on the chase. And coming on strong. 8.7, 168 miles an hour to an 11.9, 110 miles an hour.
Yeah, Brad, Eden's had a few little issues with the ute tonight, so that's why he hasn't been out. So
he's had a few fuel problems.
Fuel problems, yes. Yeah, that's why he hasn't been out. But Team Karen, King LS, an 870 at 168. Great pass there for those guys. Actually, Michael, the Lexan, yeah, the VS Commodore, of course, the Lexan had slightly different, well, similar body panels on it to what the VP Commodore did.
Not a real big change in grill. I think the bars were a little bit different. All panels were the same, and just lots of Toyota badges.
Was it the same motor or a different motor for the
same motor.
Toyota? It was the same motor. Okay, rightio. You don't see a lot of them around anymore.
No,
do
you don't. No.
No. Actually, if there was a one in good nick, that'd be a collector's item right about now.
Yeah, there's a fair few different model cars that have been rebadged over the years. Different brands.
Man, the Hot Rods have been putting on an awesome show tonight here at our Honda versus Haters theme night here at Aeroflow Race for Real.
Yeah, definitely a big congratulations to all the racers out there. They just made an absolute cracker of a night for us all.
Absolutely. And some of the times out of these Hondas and even some of these Hot Rods and a lot of the other cars. I mean, it's been top level off-street drag racing tonight. It really has been.
.11.3, 121 miles an hour to an 11.9, 113 miles an hour.
Well, tell you what, RC, I think it'll only be a matter of time before we see an electric Honda make its way out. Obviously, we've had a lot of other electric cars out here racing. We've had MGs, we've had the Teslas. But look, you never know what Honda have got up their sleeve. They're a pretty knowledgeable company. They tend to keep the cards close to their chest, but you know, you never know. There could be an electric one come out.
Well, too, we're very impressed with the MG electric car that came out.
Yeah, we were.
That was very quick.
And you know, and I think too, look, hybrid sales at the moment are up. EV sales are down a little bit, according to the VTEC. I mean, hell, my next car, I'd even consider getting a hybrid car myself. Whatever that will be, I don't know.
Well, I know my next work car is electric.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's for free.
Yeah, well, that's it. You know, yeah. I mean, look, I've always been that person where it'd be like, nah, I wouldn't get an electric car, I wouldn't hybrid. But as batteries have improved, I'm not ready for a full electric vehicle, and I'm sure a lot of our other fans and everybody else that's here tonight, you know, may not be ready for full electric cars either. But EVs, and I think there is a place for them. And you've only got to look at Formula One. You know, they want to bring V10 motors back into Formula One.
Yep.
You know, they're pushing. Well, really, the only way they could do that is to make it a V10 hybrid. That's about the only thing, which I wouldn't put it past Formula One doing that at all. You know, the technology, they can do it.
Yeah, well, you look at a lot of cars now that it's an incorporation of, you know, like electric to petrol.
Yep.
You know, that a lot of them now, you know, like they're using electric to start the cars. They use them to get them up and moving, and then the petrol take over. And you know, you're talking about some very big dollar prestigious cars.
Yes. Well, I know that Mazda with the CX-60 mark, they've got the option of a, well, obviously they've got a plug-in hybrid, which they've got. They've also got the Skyactiv G motor paired up with a battery, so it's only a mild hybrid.
Yep.
But then they've also got a diesel hybrid as well, which is another option as well. And I like that way. That, and I'm not saying it just because I'm a Mazda fan, but I think, you know, if you want a diesel, you've got it, but then you've still got that mild battery in it as well. And it's the same with the petrol motors. The diesels obviously is a lot better per tank than anything else.
Yeah.
But with these new, which is interesting because all I've been reading about, and I read a lot of stuff through a lot of the car pages I'm on Facebook and a lot of other stuff. These new rules that are coming in with the emissions and everything that's coming in, they say it's going to kill a few cars that are on the market. And I know Isuzu are one company that are really got to look at what they're doing, because they're going to have to change.
Yeah.
And they're only a very small company. I mean, they've only got 2 models on the market here in Australia. And that's going to make it tough, I think, for a few manufacturers in particular as well. I mean, Toyota have had to go down the route of putting AdBlue, same as Ford with the Transit van. You know, it's still a diesel motor, but you've got to have the 18 litres of AdBlue in it. You know, that might be something that a lot of them will start progressing towards.
Yeah. Well, I know the Hilux I had, that had the big burn on it, or you know, that I think every 100 Ks it would do a full burn on it.
Yeah.
You know, to clean the catalytic converter. So I assume that was one way of, you know, reducing emissions out of it.
Yes. Yep.
But yeah, emissions are a very big thing.
They are.
You know, so many countries have, you know, like volunteered a really low emission rate to get to. I think from what I heard of Australia, we sort of haven't really reached ours as of yet.
That's right. Well, as far as I'm aware, the Ford Transit Custom, the current one that's out, it's the only, as far as I know, it's the only Euro 6 based van on the market at the moment. And I think if you look at someone like Isuzu, and I go back to Isuzu purely because that 3-litre diesel is a great motor. It's been around for years, it's reliable, but with these new emission laws that the government wants to bring in, you know, they're going to have to try and find a way to either keep that motor or scrap it and bring in a 2-point-something litre motor into their market, because they've already got a 1.9.
Yep.
But I think overseas there's a 2-point-something litre they've got over there. I was reading.
Okay.
So they would have to bring that in here to Australia to compensate for it. All right, it's time to get a little bit gangster. We've got the Chrysler 300C down in the Aeroflow lane. No, it's not Baldy, who's one of our old officials from here in Sydney. It's definitely not Les Binkhurst behind the wheel.
He snuck in.
Although, having said that, I could see Les behind the wheel of the Chrysler 300C. I mean, he always says no car but a Mopar. I can see a dashboard, thank you very much, Ben. Yes. Yeah. You got to teach Bushman, okay? Another pair of Hondas, the Honda Civic sedan up against the Honda Civic hatch.
But look what's running up right behind them.
Yep, yep. Arley's coming out. It still amazes me that, you know, number one, it's an all-wheel drive car, but, you know, you look at the Skylines, and particularly ones that are all-wheel drive as well, you know, they have a tendency to move around as well, but it's interesting that they don't like this style of track where it's a street meet.
Yeah.
They prefer like a full prep track or a radial track, whereas these Evo Pro Street Evos, you know, they just love this track.
Yeah, we have had some of the latest Skylines that have come out and run 8-second passes in full street trim.
Arley 2.09 in the 60 this time.
Just a gear change.
Yeah, sequential gearbox in this car. And runs on through with a 10.04, 164 miles per hour, but Mark, you picked it.
Yeah.
All right, the Honda Civic Type R about to take on the Mitsubishi Lancer.
$14 free, 98 miles an hour for the Aeroflow lane, to a 16 free at 82 miles an hour for the Rocket lane.
Yeah, I've actually driven one of those Mitsubishi Lancers.
Oh, okay.
They are a fun car to drive. They really are. You know, I know they were, when they came out, you know, P-platers loved them.
Yeah.
Because they had that heritage at the time with the Evo 10.
Yeah, I would like to drive an Evo.
So would I.
They would have been a fun drive.
Yeah, the Evo 10, I would like to drive an Evo 10 and then have a go on an Evo 9 and really feel the difference and see what the difference is in the cars. It's obviously the Evo 9s were a lot more popular than what the 10s were.
$14.2, 103 miles an hour for the Rocket lane, to a 14.2, 102 miles an hour. Absolutely nothing between those two cars.
A little Toyota Corolla coming out now.
Up against the Honda.
Car that I really learnt how to drive manual on.
Oh, okay.
All those years ago, this particular model of Corolla. But I would prefer the car next to it. The Honda Civic Type R, the modern day one. The 2-litre turbo. One of the fastest cars around Nürburgring for a front wheel drive. And 13.9 at 110. All right, Queen 2R is back out. Not sure who's driving, whether it's the Queen driving or it's her partner. Taking on this nitrous-assisted VL Commodore, which Mark and I have been very, very impressed about throughout the night.
Yeah, it's been performing really, really well all night.
It's been a fantastic car. I'll tell you what, a lot of thought has really gone into the build of the car too. You can see it with the way that it leaves the line. 1.48 in the 60 this time for the Commodore. Queen 2R, 1.78 in the 60. on the brakes before the finishing line, and then 11.09 with a 2 to a 10.18 with a 5. Now that Commodore, Mark, it left the line so effortlessly. I'm wondering whether that car's got a little bit more in it.
Yeah, I think it does. It just, and the way it leaves the line, it just raises up on the suspension and launches out.
Well, that's kind of what I was referring to, because I'm just wondering if, you know, how much harder do you think they could take it off the start line? Because we don't know what they're revving that car to before he leaves the line.
Yeah.
But I dare say there'd be a lot more in that 60 foot, maybe 330 foot of the racetrack.
Yeah, I think it would. Yeah. I think they could get that probably down a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because it's at a 1.6 at the moment, so if it's 1.6 60 footing and not turning tyres, you can start pulling your revs up a little bit more to get to that limit.
Well, we're very lucky tonight to have the BYP Toyota MR2. As a few people have mentioned, they've seen the car over the road at roll racing. But it's great to have BYP back here at Sydney Dragway for a Wednesday night street meet.
Okay, just waiting for these couple of cars just to clear the bottom runoff road before we do release them.
I guess the interesting part too, which I didn't make mention of earlier this evening, Mark, you know, this MR2 has been doing a lot of racing over the road in roll racing.
Yep.
Watching the car tonight convert to over here at the drag strip, wondering what changes they've had to do to the car just for the drag strip.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know actually, Stewie.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but it'd be, it definitely would be a fair bit of suspension work in it, or adjustments, because you're not having to have the throw and the squat in the car.
That's right.
Because you're already moving at speed.
All right, the big Chevy is back out. Blown big block. As I mentioned, this car's gone down into the 10.4 second bracket, which is a fantastic achievement for a big car like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Way a lot.
A 1.77 in the 60 this time for the big Chevy. The Honda looked like it's had a bit of an issue in the first part of the racetrack. 10.57 with the 7, 130. That's a great pass there for the big Chevy. And bearing in mind too that Chevy's only got a small set of slicks on the rear end of it.
He doesn't seem to leave it a big amount of revs, and he seems to start, as soon as it leaves the line, starts feeding into it.
Yeah.
I think that's how he gets away with the smaller tyre.
All right, Smoke and Joe Sabello coming out now in the Datsun Skyline, the LS underneath the bonnet.
Okay, just waiting on the cars down the bottom end of the track.
Now also guys, coming up on the 22nd of March is the next round of the New South Wales State Championship Series. It's round 2. As Joe Sabella goes .005 red. Oh, so, oh man, he's trying, isn't he?
Yeah. Absolutely. 11.8, 116 miles an hour. I would be surprised if we see Joe again tonight. It's usually he's past his bedtime.
Yeah.
He's usually got the dressing gown and slippers on.
Yeah, so coming up, guys, that's the 22nd of March, round 2 of the New South Wales State Championship Series. If you love bracket racing, guys, and if you were here for our comp night, where we had a dial your own, I should say, that was a really successful night.
That was a great night. It was.
And it was a good opportunity for a few people to really see what the racing's about, and hopefully we'll see them back for round 2 of the State Champs.
Yes.
You'll hear the Bushman and Pat on the mic for that one on the 22nd of March. We've got everything from street cars all the way through to 6-second boosted outlaws. Now the Fentech Commodore back out.
Didn't have much luck in the burnout. So it wouldn't stall up for him.
Well, 1.91 on the 60 from the Commodore, 1.95 from the Hot Rod. But that Turbo LS, a 1073 to 140.
And 12.6 at 109 miles an hour.
Yeah, that was a good race. I actually thought the Hot Rod, you know, to the 8th mile, I thought he had him, but that Turbo LS just wound it up. All right, the Willis down here in the Aeroflow lane. It's got that real Jeep-esque front end on it. 1332 with the 1349 there for the Hot Rod, as we've got the Pulsar about to come out. And just down there fixing the bonnet. All right, with Commodore out 2.10 in the 60.
Goes through 13.6, 106 miles an hour to a 15.3 at 88 miles an hour.
Yeah, I really hope for our next comp night, Mark, we have another dial your own night.
Oh, absolutely. It was successful in making everyone on the same par.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it also goes to show too that, you know, a lot of the races that are here tonight, particularly a lot of the Honda guys as well, you know, their cars are fairly consistent over the quarter mile.
Yep.
If they can get those reaction times down a bit, join us as part of the comp night.
Yep.
And let's mix it up. Let's see a Honda take out a Commodore or something anyway.
Yes.
I mean, that's the advantage of dial your own.
It is indeed. Yep. You once you've done enough racing, you understand your car and understand, you know, how it leaves and what it leaves at and what your quarter mile time is. You can put in a good dial your own time and know how quick you can get off the line.
Well, I mean, even if your car is not a 10-second car, you know, it doesn't matter because number one is dial your own.
Yep.
Secondly, if you do want to race at round 2 of the New South Wales State Champs, you don't have to race against a 10 to 12-second car. If your car's not that fast, don't stress. Go and race Street Fighter. It's for street cars.
Yep.
And you can run as quick as you want. As long as you can really get your eye on the tree for your reaction times. I mean, you look at someone like, classic example, Danny Stoudemire.
Yep.
Danny's got a silver AU Falcon. Look, it's not the quickest car, but he's quick on the lights and he's consistent.
Yes.
And that's why he's a former round champion in the class. And it's a big class, Super Street. I'll tell you what, if you win it, or Street Fighter, those two brackets, if you win it, you've deserved it.
Yeah, exactly. But that's virtually what it is about.
Yep. All right, this nitrous-assisted V8 Commodore, 1.72 in the 60. Nice straight pass down the rocket lane for him, an 11.03 with a 1 at 122.
Well, Joe's made a liar of me. He's lined up again.
Oh, good. I think Joe knows he's in the zone. He's almost there. I'll tell you what. Last week, it was about the second last run of the night when Philip Moggs cracked to 000 and took the $1,500. Now, the old saying goes, you've got to be in it to win it. And the way Joe's going tonight, I might have to get this sheet ready to get filled out, because if he cracks a 000,
he's out of the game anyway. He's in a race car.
Oh, that's right. He's in a race car, isn't he?
Yeah.
Ah, spewing. I got his hopes up. Sorry, Joe. I was just trying to rev you up, that's all. But no, I mean, look, but as a racer as well, even if you're thinking about coming into race, you know, if you're lined up next to Joe, or even some of our super street racers like Sammy Joe, for example, you know, you can gauge where you need to leave, because you're watching the lights, but you can also hear what the other car's doing.
Yeah.
You know, and that car might move a fraction of a second before you. Well, then you're like, okay, well, I've got to go. And you can base your times on the lights off the existing car, rather than going in blind and going, well, you know, I'm going off the third or second amber. You know, like you and I said last week, it's about looking at your time slip and going, well, okay, well, 0.2 of a second, too slow.
Yep.
Where does that correspond in the lights?
Yeah. Usually, if you watch your lights, and depending on how your car reacts, you know, like as we say, depending on the car and the amount of modifications will tell you of how soon or how late you leave. And yeah, if you take off from the lights and, you know, like you're in a 2-second sitting there, well, you know, you've waited for the green.
Yeah.
Don't bother with the green.
That's right.
You know, you start counting down your yellows. So you try it on when that second yellow goes out.
Yep.
You launch at that and see where that takes you. You'll find you'll drop down heaps in your times.
Yes.
So that's the benefit of what I found in watching the lights. And your time card's your best friend. You look at your time card, you see where you're at, and you can see, you know, did I leave did I go red, or did I leave too late? So, yeah, it's more time in the seat.
That's right.
The more you gauge.
Exactly, and I'll tell you what, the more time in the seat, the more chance you've got of banking a 000.
Yes.
And, you know, potentially walking out with over $1,000, providing nobody's actually done it, and you're in a street car, you know, or street bike, you know, and how's that? You pay $70 to race.
Yep.
Could potentially walk out with at least a minimum of $300. I mean, that's a great incentive to come out and race.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've got the Chrysler up against the Nissan. Well, the little Nuggets having a good bit of fun in the burnout.
Yeah. Front-wheel drive burnouts, I reckon they're cool. Some people might disagree, but I think they're cool. because we don't have a lot of front-wheel drive drag cars in Australia. There's a lot overseas, obviously, in America.
Okay.
There's a big Honda scene over there. And a lot of them are very, very quick cars as well. But, yeah, the UK as well. That's right, Ben. But we don't have a lot here. We've got a couple, but that's about it. Which is a shame, because I definitely think that there's a market there for front-wheel drive drag cars. And as the old saying goes, if they run the time, you know, you can put yourself in a bracket. Someone's up on the revs.
Yeah, just sitting on the two-step. Honda just didn't get off the line, but just give it a big handful of revs and get into it.
Why not? 10.87, 104.
And 15.9, 87 miles an hour.
All right, Queen 2R is back out. Slowly but surely. They took it out. It didn't work. They backed it down a little bit. Now they've just started to tweak it a little bit. Obviously, it's a different car to what we've seen last time. It's all-wheel drive. We were wondering why it took so long that we hadn't seen them.
Yeah.
You're up against Sammy Joe in the dialed-in racing VE Commodore. 0.088 for Sammy Joe off the tree, 1.66. Unfortunately there for the Integra. A little bit of an issue getting it off the line.
Yeah, it just looked like it stalled or just bogged down.
Well, 11.67 from Sammy Joe. That's a cracker of a pass from Sammy. All right, the VX Commodore, first timer.
And up against the VZ nitrous car.
Tell you what, an 11.67 for Sammy Joe. I'm wondering if that's close to a PB for her in this car.
Yeah, I don't know.
It'd have to be close. All right, this nitrous-assisted Commodore out here in the Aeroflow lane.
One, 85 miles an hour to a 16.4 at 88 miles an hour.
All right, Joe Sabello back out in the Datsun Skyline.
I think Joe is trying to get as many passes as he can on this motor just to make sure it's well and truly bedded in.
Yeah, it's not very often we see Joe have problems with any of his motors.
No.
He goes about it the right way.
Yeah, he does. Yep. Yeah, he looks after them and maintains them well. It's, as you say, it's very rare you ever see him being towed back.
Oh, 062 on the tree from Joe. I think he's getting some practice in for the next round of the state champs. And an 1181 this time, a little bit slower. I dare say you're right, Mark, because I think once he puts the supercharger back on it, you know, it's going to be, whilst it's still the same motor, same car, I suppose the characteristics of that particular motor will be a lot different to what he's had before.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah. Being more cubes, it is going to have more horsepower, but you know, being a lot torquier motor, under boost, yeah, it'll be a real weapon of a car.
Does that mean too, Mark, that with this motor being what it is, when he puts the supercharger on it, would he have to run as much boost, or can he reduce the amount of boost he runs through the supercharger to compensate for the extra torque out of that motor?
He can, but the reason that he's done this is for the more horsepower and more boost. So if you drop down your boost, you drop down your horsepower levels as well. 12.4, 108 miles an hour for the rocket lane.
They just sound so good, those hot rods, when they're at full noise, don't they?
Yep.
They really do. Well, the Honda Civic Type R doing a practice start. Tell you what, it's not, this particular model, not really known for drag racing, it's more for circuit.
Yes.
But they've been putting on a fantastic show tonight in this car, as have all the Honda drivers that have come out to play tonight.
Yeah, have indeed. Yeah, it was a really good turnout.
It was a great turnout.
Yep, and yeah, as we said earlier, yeah, it's a credit to all the racers that come out.
You can see the big Chevy truck.
Yep.
That's making its way around.
Bless you.
All right, Sammy Joe. Oh, .002 red from Sammy Joe. Oh, man, that was close.
Well, we talk about consistency and we talk about sharp on the lights.
That's almost Dave Muscat sharp, isn't
yes,
it?
indeed. Yeah.
We might have to start calling her show bags.
Well, 11.5, 115 miles an hour to a 14.1, 103 miles an hour.
I don't know how that would go down, but all right, Queen 2R back out. Certainly getting some good data on the car this evening.
Yep, indeed.
Well, 1.73 in the 60.
Okay, so it might be just concentrating on the launch.
Yep.
At the moment.
Yeah, 1.73 to the 60, 4.71 to the 330 mark there for Miss R. All right, Too Quick is back out, the Fentec and High Comp Performance.
Well, a lot better burnout then.
Yeah. And he's up against that nitrous VTEC Commodore. Now, will we see this thing run into the 10As? seems like conditions out there are really good at the moment.
Yes, they are. Yep. Couple of quick purges of the nitrous. Just clean those lines.
Well, 1.79 in the 60 this time for the VTEC Commodore. 11.04 with an 801. So 60 down a little bit.
Yeah, got off that early.
Yeah.
12.4, 96 miles an hour for the Aeroflow lane.
Yeah, it's interesting with, I find too, Mark, with a lot of these new car builds or people that haven't raced for a while and they've got a relatively new car that they're racing, a lot of them do run the full quarter.
Yep.
I was wondering whether a lot of them would peg it back to really work on that 8 mile.
You may find those guys are working off their time card, looking at the sectors in it to see what's changed, where it's changed.
All right, the big Chevy is back out. Absolutely love this car.
Mate, it just needs a canopy on the back and be farm track, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just a really clean version of farm truck.
I love the look of it, you know, the red, the white and the blue.
Yep.
But the way that they've done it. The 1.73 in the 60 for the big Chev. And a 1060, 128 miles an hour. That sounded a little bit better when it left the line. Didn't sound like it was trying to turn tyres.
Yeah, it definitely did. It sounded nice and strong all the way up the track. It's got a very tough motor. You know if it's a big block or small block?
I believe it's a big block.
Big block, yep.
With a supercharger. Now, Sammy Joe coming out now in the V Commodore. Now, Sammy Joe's actually got another car in the build. Can't give away too much, but she does have another car in the build. I'm not sure how far away it is.
Were they going to turn this one back to street or are they leaving it as is?
I've got a feeling they'll probably leave it as is. Oh, Sammy Joe, point 003 red on the tree. Really had a crack at it. But I know the dialed-in racing workshop, the main workshop, is got a few cars in there. One of them is going to be a radial car.
Yep.
With a twin turbo.
Wow, okay.
Or R8 turbo 2J in it.
Yep.
Which will be interesting to see when that car comes out.
Yes. Yeah.
There's no rush, obviously. I mean, they're all busy with their own individual work and each other's cars. Now, Queen 2R out this time in the rocket lane. Yeah, not quite sure, Jack. When's JDMKNG racing? Be nice to see it back out. Maybe this weekend at Jamboree. Well, 1.81 this time in the 60 for Queen 2R.
Yeah, again, they just launched it out and then backed out of it.
Yep. Definitely going about it the right way with that car.
Yeah, yep. Getting all the data in all the aspects of the track.
Yep. Well, it's a shame we didn't get a lot of motorcycles here this evening. I was really hoping we'd see some Honda bikes out here.
Yeah.
And have a crack against all the other mates. Well, the little Honda out with a 2.71 in the 60. Nice straight run down the Aeroflow lane to 14.89 at 98. That's a great pass there from that little Honda.
Yep. Don't know.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that looks like that is it for tonight's Aeroflow race reel. It's Honda versus Haters night. It's been a fantastic night of off-street drag racing. Big thank you to all the racers and the fans that came out tonight to watch some really good quality off-street drag racing. Don't forget, guys, Jamboree is on this Saturday here at Sydney Dragway. Your fantastic event that is too. All your alternate engines, as we affectionately call them, so the Rotaries, 4G63s, I'm sure there'll be some Skylines, RB30s. Don't forget, you want to get out here and see the gas team out in force. And the 22nd of March, guys, is our next round of the New South Wales State Championship Series.
Well, thank you, Stu, and what a great night we've had. Thank you to all the competitors, all the track crew who make this able for all of us, and for everyone leaving, just go easy. Boys in blue are always out there wandering around, and have a safe trip home. And to all our production crew up here, great job, guys. All right, have a safe one.